It's one thing you being black. I mean, we've gotten over that now. But being black and flashy and with it, you earn more than the average white person, and then you want to be flashy too.
God damn you, man. You know what I've got to say though, in relation to black players. I think in the next, give it 10, 15 years, the Premier League could become similar to NBA and the NFL. And I've got to give it up to Gareth Southgate, is the current England manager. He is letting these boys play, man. He's bringing them in, regardless of their background, and he's playing them. I think that these players have to realize that they are powerful and they can have more of an influence on these kind of things. We got to remember that racism is a society issue that I believe sport can have a major hand in. And if they...
the only problem is they still try to make the token white boy the golden boys, though. Like they want to have the one that they can get behind, but in the England team, they got Harry Kane. That's who they got.
That's why they big him up so much.
That's why he's captain. What the team? Who is the prominent white boy? You got obviously the keeper Pickford, but he looks like he steals car stereo, so they don't really like him.
He touched the hole. He looked like he wears Reebok Classics.
He looks like he steals car radios and wears Reebok Classics. Fantastic. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, rodents and other small insects. Welcome to the Eloquently Saying Nothing podcast, season 2, episode 102. We are in the house. Hashtag ESN pod on all your social medias to join in the conversation, and at ESN podcast everywhere. Also, I'm doing a shout out. I want people to send in questions verbally. Get your phone out, record a voice note, and email it to esnpodcast@gmail.com, and we can play that and then respond to it nicely. Right, I am Stavros Boss at Stavros Boss, and in the room with me this very night, I have Mr. Wolf.
The bowstring that got broken was what turned the bow into a mere baton, which means that there is a cause to every effect. A minor issue may produce a major consequence. What's going on, people? This is Mr. Wolf in the building. Catch me on Instagram on AKA Mr. Wolf and AKA _ Mr. Wolf on the Twitters. Dripping in sauce.
We also have Big Wahala.
At Big Wahala on Insta, at Big Wahala on Twitter. What's good, people?
And last but not least, we have Simple Simon.
Mortal transgressor. The evidence of your crimes are upon you. For if you were to kill me today, you could not vanquish me tomorrow. Mortal transgressor. The innards that should be housed within your casing are missing. Mortal transgressor, please explain to me what it's like to mortally transgress. That was a short poem from the Right Honourable Buju Banton.
Yeah, it had to be him.
Gargamel. And the original poem sounds a little something like this.
Murderer, blood is on your shoulder. Kill I today, you cannot kill I tomorrow. Murder, your inside must say hello. How does it feel to take the life of another?
Murderer, blood is on your shoulder. Kill I today, you cannot kill I tomorrow. Murderer, you inside must say hello. How does it feel to take the life, Lord?
You know what? I want to big up Cheryl Blue.
I was about to say exactly the same thing.
That song will forever remind me of her now.
Yes.
Because one time she sang it on a podcast and she sang it like him.
She sang it like him.
Like, I probably man them. I was like, how did she manage to do like that?
Murder.
She did it so good.
It's on your shoulder.
So from now on, it will remind me of
Cheryl Blue. Yeah, for real. So yes, Gargamel is free. Anyway.
Free the man them.
Free the man them. At Simple Simon FB on Twitter. I don't have Instagrams. Yes, Gargamel is free. Free the man them.
All right, let's talk about Buju then.
Buju Banton.
So what did he go down for?
He went down for
drug smuggling.
Yeah, it
cocaine.
Was it? What do they call it? Possession with intent to supply.
That John Forte business.
Basically,
that.
in Miami, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Why would he do that though?
I don't understand.
Strange.
I don't understand.
Did he say it was? Did he admit guilt though?
I don't know. I didn't really follow up the case.
Never did that. To be honest, Manda's supposed. You know what? That's when you know that where there's rags. You know, Manda's got caught with drugs, but they said,
you know what I mean?
He probably did it. Yeah, Buju probably did it. Even though I don't think that I wouldn't have seen him as a man to smuggle drug. I don't think he would need to.
I didn't think so either.
Apparently, Buju Banton's got more record sales than Bob Marley.
Yes,
I was shocked when I read that.
Yes, Buju Banton is the big thing. Man.
The biggest selling Jamaican artist of all time.
Wow.
Wow. I'm telling you.
Was there free Buju? How long ago how long has he been in?
7 years.
And he got 10. And so he got fairly or something.
Something like that, yeah.
All right.
Buju, because of what happened with the gay thing, that's why Buju wasn't really. People are trying to move away from Buju again, really.
Yeah, because I could have done any number of Buju Banton songs today. And yeah.
Okay, then. So what is it with this gay thing?
Because you know he did Boom Bye Bye, innit?
Well, one song.
That was the biggest gay. He basically said, kill them. That is the whole song.
Am I allowed to laugh?
Every Yardie artist.
No. Every Yardie artist said after Buju said it.
Step on them.
Buju was the original. With the Boom Bye Bye, he was
Boom Bye Bye.
the original. Well, let me not say the original because I don't know. But he was the biggest one that said it.
Boom Bye Bye kind of
set the trend.
It wasn't so much set the trend. It was cementing. It was a cementing moment within the movement. And the reason why I say that is because many other songs had made reference to it, but this was a song that was made entirely about it, and then it happened to be a really, really catchy song.
Do you know why I know that there's something very wrong with Jamaican dancehall artists?
What's that?
Because Boom Bye Bye, the beat itself is like a proper soulful love making song.
It is, because on that same beat is another big song. For the same reason, because of that beat.
It's an R&B song, isn't it?
Well, the next big song on that is Girl Flicks. Time to have sex.
Yeah, exactly. And Buju is singing it like it was a love song, an ode to his woman, you know.
No, but when I was young, back in the day, and we were in the nightclubs and that tune came on.
You scrub a woman at the wall, innit?
Grinding up on a woman.
You know what?
So
you know we got to segue. We got to segue this, innit? Because obviously Buju said Boom Bye Bye in, let's say, about 90 something.
Yeah.
You know, Kevin Hart was probably just an upstart them times there, making jokes about certain things them times there. You
Man
get me?
segued before I had a chance to segue somewhere
I know
else.
you was. Yeah,
I wasn't going to do that.
I've gone there, innit? So Buju obviously had got a lot of flack for singing Boom Bye Bye in the future because and you know what Buju did? Buju said he ain't apologizing for Boom Bye Bye. He just said he ain't gonna sing the song again because they won't allow him to release music until he stopped.
Yeah.
You know, on the same thing, you know, but he had his stance. He said, I don't agree with the thing, so I'm not gonna sing the thing, but I'm not gonna take it back and apologize for the song.
Yeah.
A bit like Kevin Hart, who said, you know what, I said some jokes in the past. I kind of apologize for it in the past, but I'm not doing it again. Go on, Stav.
So I just got a call from the Academy, and that call basically said, Kevin, apologize for your tweets of old, or we're going to have to move on and find another host. Talking about the tweets from 2009, 2010. I chose to pass. I passed on the apology. The reason why I passed is because I've addressed this several times. This is not the first time this has come up. I've addressed it. I've spoken on it. I've said where the rights and wrongs were. I've said who I am now versus who I was then. I've done it. I'm not going to continue to go back and tap into the days of old when I moved on and I'm in a completely different space in my life. The same energy that went into finding those old tweets could be the same energy put into finding the response to the questions that have been asked years after years after years. We feed in the internet trolls and we reward them. I'm not going to do it, man. I'm going to be me. I'm going to stay in my ground. Regardless, Academy, I'm thankful and appreciative of the opportunity. If it goes away, no harm, no foul.
You know, I'll be honest with you, we can't take Kevin Hart too seriously though, because if white people use that excuse that he's using about it being the past or whatever and he's apologized for it, we don't have to go back there. Let's move forward. What would we say then? That's all I thought.
Gaza.
Boy, the thing about it though is, you're saying that though, we're not going to run to Afghani and start cussing him down if Afghani was to come out and do his thing. I don't think many people would be like, Afghani shouldn't be allowed to do that. Because in the past, Afghani was doing racist jokes.
Check out Afghani on Twitter.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to there's a
fake Afghan.
Yeah. When I see Tommy Robinson, whenever I go to them racist sides or them Britain First thingies, Afghani is there. He's there. Anyway, let me explain the situation. So, Kevin Hart was picked by the Academy Awards to present the awards for this year, or for the 18-19 award season. And then I think it was days, I don't think it was even a week after it was announced, old tweets came up, which I believe just mimicked an old routine that he has on one of his shows that he did about 8 years ago or so. And it was basically talking about his son, who would have been about 2 or 3 at the time, and how he's scared for his son to potentially be gay. And if he sees his son doing any gay-ish, he's gonna stop that immediately, nip it in the bud, because he doesn't want his son being gay. Now he claims that the joke is more about him and his insecurity, and the joke is like the light is beamed on him. He's not talking about his son per se, even though the joke is about his son. But it has been brought up before. Obviously, this is a while ago. And as far as he's concerned, he's apologized for it in the past. And so he doesn't feel that he needs the need to apologize every time social media galvanizes itself, brings up old stuff, and attacks him with it. But after he renounced it, because after this message, he sent a couple of different tweets and videos. So he did actually renounce the awards. He said, I'm not going to do the awards. I don't want to take away from the award show itself. And I feel that there will be too much light on me after this. So I'm not going to do it. Thank you very much, Academy Awards. And I don't want to apologize. And then he apologized.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say, and the awards said, don't worry, just come and do it.
Oh, no, man. They're covering their back.
They'll be like, thank you, mister.
After Oscars So White, because they got their own social media backlash. Now they're being very careful. Remember, there was Oscars So White a couple of years ago. They were complaining there weren't enough black or minority ethnic people that were being awarded. There weren't any of them that were part of the Academy themselves. These are the people that actually vote for the awards. So they hired a bunch of people to actually be behind the scenes to now vote for the awards. And obviously they want to push the agenda of having some minorities in the forefront, which is maybe potentially could be one of the reasons why they picked Kevin Hart. It's like, let's be inclusive.
But Chris Rock usually does it.
Usually, I think he's done it twice.
He's done it.
Yeah, he's done it twice.
He's done it a few times.
And his background is shady, bruv, when it comes to these kind of things. I think maybe they just don't want another black to do it.
I don't think Chris Rock has got that many gay jokes, though.
You can't put it past these old school comedians, man. You know what I mean? These guys go deep.
Yeah, but I don't know any. I can't remember any big routines from Chris Rock that's about gays.
But if you was to
Eddie
ask,
Murphy.
Yeah. But the thing is, if anybody was to ask last week, has Kevin Hart got any gay jokes? You'll say, well, I don't know. Ain't no one gonna really know. It's just
because his stand up is quite popular, isn't it? So just the same as like Chris Rock, they quote these lot of stand up. So I think I even remember the joke they're referring to on this thing. But
the thing about that joke is it's a beautifully poised joke, in the sense that it does throw you into the mix of, hang on a minute, what is he saying? Oh no, he's not saying that. Oh, actually, wait a minute. Like, it's one of those ones where you kind of bounce around the joke, kind of thing.
The beauty of the joke is, and people will not like to really admit that, is that a lot of heterosexual men will probably feel the same way of what he's saying in that video. They'll be like, I don't want my son to be gay. I don't know what to do if he's gay. What am I going to do? It's like, it is an insecurity in yourself to say, boy, if my son's gay, what does that mean? How does that work? The joke
what
itself.
What does it say about me? You know?
Yeah, the joke itself works because a lot of men will think that way. That way. That was allowed in 2000 and whatever it is. Now, if you was to feel like, I don't really want a gay son, even if you was to say like there's times when I say I don't really want a daughter or I really want sons, and women get really irate with it.
To explain.
Yeah, and then I said to them, but you always told me that it's so much harder to be a woman in this world. There's so much this, there's so much that. So why would I want to bring another one to have this stress that you're telling me? And then they look at me, and they still get annoyed with it, but they kind of understand what I'm saying.
Exactly.
So if you was to say, you know what, I'd rather have a heterosexual son because I think that gay men go through a lot in this country, and I prefer it if my son didn't have to go through that. Yep. I think they will still have a problem with it. So I don't think he's allowed to have that opinion. I don't think anybody's allowed to have these types of opinions about these types of situations. So
this is precisely why I'm saying it's such a good joke, because it throws you into that space where you're not sure, and when you go through the whole routine and you get to the end, if you actually read it, you realize he isn't actually saying anything bad about gay people.
He doesn't.
He's not saying that at all. He even says in there, "Oh yeah,
he's talking about himself.
He's talking about himself. I have nothing against gay people. They're fantastic, but when it comes to like your own child
in my circle.
Yeah, understand what I'm saying to you? It turns into a next thing. The joke is beautifully poised, and it's one of those ones where, depending, like you said, depending on the times that you're in, is depending on whether that joke is held up or shot down.
I was gonna just throw a curveball in there, regards to what you said. You know, if you're a dark-skinned man, would you see it as the same way as him wanting to be with a white woman because he wouldn't want another dark-skinned child to come into this world to have the problems that he's had?
Ooh, I would have brought the woman into play. I would have just said, if he said he didn't want a dark-skinned child because of the reasons about dark-skinned children, and then that's a direct link, and people can say, is that a problem then?
Ooh, that's what I'm saying.
I heard what Wahala said, but I kind of disagree. I disagree. So I would say the same thing about the dark skin thing. I hear what you're saying, and I understand it all. But then to say you don't want a child because of that, it sounds a bit like a cop out, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, but it is. Yeah, but there are some new parents or people about to become parents who do certain things or to be with a certain partner to avoid maybe certain issues that their child may have.
We're going to bring up a DNA topic later on that's based on that, where you basically genetically modify your own child, but we'll come to that later.
If they were killing dark-skinned people for them being darker skinned, yeah, I would understand.
They kill blacks.
But exactly. No matter the shade, does it? But they actually, gay people get abused, killed, beat up. There's stuff that happens to them. So if he was to say it for that reason, fine. Again, women get sexually abused. The percentage is ridiculous. They in the workplace, they have less of a chance of maybe gaining something, blah, blah. There's a lot of things that go against women. So I would say to myself, you know what? I don't know if I want my daughter to have to go through this stress in life. I would be happy if I had one. Never think that I'll be any less than happy to have any child. But if I had the option, I might have a boy. But then again, you could say the same thing for boys, that they might get killed, they might get stabbed, they might get. So you can, but it's what you understand and know in it. I know how to deal with a heterosexual black boy because that's what I am. So I'll know how to deal with that a lot better than a lesbian black daughter. You don't know, or a lesbian white daughter or whatever, because I don't know that. That's like the complete opposite of me. Do you understand?
A gay man. Black gay man, you don't know nothing about it.
Black gay man, I'll still have at least understanding how to be a black man. I just want, when it's time to ask me where he's having the sex, it's like, I don't know, fam. You have to find out from somewhere else. I don't know how to do that.
That's the seesaw of life. Because I was at swimming with my daughter today, and we were talking about doing other lessons. One of the persons saying that with his other child, they do ballet and they do this and that and blah blah blah. I said, yeah, I want to do dance for my child as well at some point, and I don't know what age I'm gonna pick. And then I mentioned, but martial arts. And then all the people that I do it was like, yep. And we all knew right. It's like, yeah, because with the way things are, people finishing my sentence. It's like, I said, martial arts or some sort of defense. I don't know what it is, but I just wanted to be able to. And they're like, yeah, that's society these days. A woman needs to be able to defend herself, or as a father, that's what you, as a father, that's what you want for your daughter to, if and when those situations arise. It's almost not even like, you can't even say if. It's like when the situation arises, I want you to be able to kick a man in his balls with a confidence.
You be a good dad and take her to martial arts. Uncle Wahala will get her the thing. It's all right.
I don't even.
But the thing that's
put this in your boot. Put this in your boot.
The thing that's so funny though is that what we're saying is we're gonna have a generation of women that have all gone to martial arts of some description, or a lot of them have gone to martial arts in some description.
Are you guys looking in that same direction too?
Yeah, me, yeah, definitely. Same thing. There was a dance because I don't know what it is with my daughter. She seems to like dancing a lot. Makes up her own routines and choreographs her own shit.
I'm not gonna tell you why your child likes dancing, but you know.
Shut up. So that's
you know, your daughter's been jumping from the pram from day dot.
Trust me, that was So yeah, and then she'll do a martial arts of some description. So like
capoeira.
Of some description, it'll be Krav Maga, something like that. I don't know.
I don't even know which one is Krav Maga. It sounds like one Western.
It's Krav Maga.
Krav Maga is Jason Bourne.
Oh, okay.
That thing that he does.
I want on-back movements, bro.
It's the same as Batman as well.
Yeah.
I want on-back behaviors, bro.
But them close quarter,
every
break your bone, thing.
Yes, every blow is deadly. That's the Krav Maga thing.
God damn it.
That's actually it's actually Israeli Defense League that do that.
I'm not going in that direction, bro.
It's that no, I want her to be able to deal with the thing. What do you mean?
To break a bone.
So back to the topic at hand then.
Back to the
Do we agree with Kevin Hart saying let's go before he did the apology. Yeah, so let's stick to the point where he said, "I'm not going to apologize. I've done it before. If the Academy don't want me, so be it." Are we saluting that? I'm a comedian. I have a right to make a joke. It is a joke. I wasn't being serious.
But that's not what he's... Keep going. But
in essence, I'm a comedian. I made these as jokes. If he wrote it and he was being serious and he said, "I've grown as a person, I've changed," then by all means, yeah, you should apologize for what you meant.
But he has apologized. That's the thing.
Yeah,
are we talking about before? Or are we talking about before the second apology? Because you apologized before in the past, didn't it?
This is why black people won't succeed in life.
Well, I heard what you said, but I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure whether or not you were talking about before the second apology or the
apology that he did this week.
Or last week. So then that's what I'm saying. Now, going by what the timeline, he's already apologized.
Yeah, but I don't think it was. But okay, all right, go on then.
No, because if he already apologized, he's apologized once. So that is why he's taking the stance of, I'm not apologizing again because I've already apologized. Why do I now need to apologize again for the same thing I've already apologized for? As you said, I can't keep apologizing for every time you decide to bring it up again. I need to apologize for it. Either you accept my apology the first time or you don't. But if you don't accept my apology, then don't bother me about it anymore because you don't accept it, innit? So if everyone else is gonna come and have this palaver with me every time I say something, I'm not gonna apologize again. I've said it once.
I know Tyler Perry was sitting over there looking at him, laughing like, "Ha ha ha! You can't sell movies in Atlanta."
Medusa and all that.
Huh?
Medusa.
You know, like that.
I'm not sure the majority of gay people are that upset with Kevin Hart.
I doubt it as well.
I doubt it very much too. But again, it's that thing of where the industry is out of touch with the streets.
You think so?
Yeah.
I just think that as the industry, and especially in the film industry right now, after this Me Too business, and they're just walking on glass, and they have to be very careful not to step into the fire pit on the side. You get me? It's like, it's dangerous as it is. We have to play this very careful. Otherwise, we don't want the drama.
I actually think that at the moment, social media or especially Twitter anyway, it's just a bad thing. Like every day they find something else to be outraged about. Like this week, there was outraged about one Nigerian girl saying she's never going to a Jamaican concert again because when she went to Popcorn, she didn't like it. It was vulgar. She said she don't like that, so she's never going there again. And the whole world was in uproar. And it apparently then became a Jamaican Nigerian thing. And I was like, but
who won?
I don't know. But I was like,
a man said who won?
Well, like people like Jamaicans was really offended by it, but I was like, I don't understand what they were offended by. I didn't get what the bit they was offended by, but maybe because I'm Nigerian, they're offended.
From what you said, I can understand why they would be offended.
Yeah, but in the end, one girl has said that she don't. Why is it that the whole continent starts? But like all the Nigerians was like, she don't like the popcorn. She don't like popcorn, innit?
Yeah, but
get her to get nachos, innit? Instead, it's not a problem.
But she mentioned a country and a style of music.
Yeah,
if you don't like one artist, then you don't like one artist. You cuss that artist, and Popcorn fans will defend Popcorn. But once you now bring in the whole country,
yeah, but she said she's not going again.
Yes, okay. Can I finish? Once she brings in the whole country and a genre of music, you've attacked those people and you've besmirched their good name. And once you besmirch their good name, the fans of those people or the people from that country have a right to say, "No, man, you can't talk about all of us like that," because you're just defending your own.
Just put a siren right there, yeah.
I just think that it was a case that.
But you agree with that?
Yeah.
No, I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't know why it's uproar. I would have just said, "Okay, don't come." That's what I said. No, if you don't want to go, then don't go.
I mean, I don't know how big the thing is, but I get it. It makes sense.
Nah, man. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want to go to no more dancehall things. I don't like them. You say that all the time. Do you expect people to come for you?
I don't like bashment music.
Yeah, that's what she said.
I don't
think she went to go listen to Popcorn. I think she went to go listen to Burna Boy. He was meant to be there before Popcorn, and then he didn't turn up. And then that's when she was disappointed and decided to come with because she was quoting Popcorn lyrics, and everybody's like, if you know Popcorn, you know this is what he's gonna say. Because she was saying he was talking about pum pum this, panani that, and he was like, but that's his songs, isn't it? So if you're going to go to the Popcorn, you know that's what he sings about. So I don't think she was going for Popcorn. I think she was going for Burna Boy. And then when she got there, Popcorn presented himself like ta-da, and then she was like, "Nah, I don't like this." Ta-da.
What's wrong with singing about panani? It's worth it.
But some people don't want to hear about women's panani.
Why not?
Because she's a woman, isn't it?
They want to hear about pussy popping, men's panani.
Men's panani.
Men's panani.
You remember that tune, Pussy Popping?
Of course, everybody knows it, man.
Yes. It's the video you have to ask. All right, so okay. Wahala is saying that he backs Kevin Hart for not apologizing
again.
Mr. Wolf?
he then did apologize.
Yeah, but that's why I for the third time, let's stop before he gets to that point. Would you say, yes, I'm glad you held your ground and I'm with you, I would do the same thing?
100%.
Or, brother, come on, man, just apologize and secure the bag. Do this job. It's a big deal.
We kind of touched on the comedy aspect and the boundaries with comedians in the past. And for me, it is kind of open season, isn't it? For comedians.
Not now.
Well, I don't know. I think maybe perhaps if there was a white presenter that was going to present and he had some gay jokes in the past, I don't think it will come out personally.
I think it would.
Who's the comedian that's going around? No, Nick Cannon is going around. He put in every comedian he knows, white comedian, in the search in Twitter, put the word fag, and then did a search. And then he found all their old tweets and he was like, is there a problem with this? So he found Sarah Silverman. Chelsea Handler, and well, it's 3 people, but I think they're all women actually. Three white women. And it's like, is there a problem with this?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Pushed it out there.
I don't personally think that they would do any kind of search if it was someone like I don't know, Seinfeld, for example, way back in the day.
Might have.
I don't think so. But that's just my opinion, innit? And I would co-sign. Well, I would be happy with him not apologizing and just moving on.
Simple.
Yeah, I thought that was a gangster. I thought, goddamn, 47. Somebody's actually using their chest now. You understand what I'm saying to you? I thought somebody on the big stage is using their chest. I thought to myself also, it's a brave step to take. But if that's that's the principle you're going to stand on the principle.
If he's a bad man, he'll do a mixtape with Buju.
Yeah, so I was with him.
I agree. I would like to believe if I was in that situation, I'd do the same thing. Because I don't know if sometimes is it worth... Because at the end of the day, I agree with what you're saying, and it's a good cause, but is it that big a deal? Because somebody, your potential employer says, "Oh, we've seen these things you've done in the past, which you yourself feel that you should not have done. Could you just apologize for it so that we're covering our back as your employer before we give you this job?" And you can say, "I've apologized for it before." It's like, "Yeah, I understand that, but it's come up, now it's blown up. So just to cover your ass and our ass, just apologize, send a tweet, send an Instagram post, and then come and make this money. Let's do this together."
But the thing about him,
because at the end of the day, you could say, "Well, that's a small thing, isn't it?"
Yeah, but the thing about actors and people of that trade is that they are not employees, innit? They're like contractors. So they can go from this job to another job to another job. I would ask the question, is Kevin Hart at a certain level now that he can't be blacklisted? You get me?
Can I just say, and you took the beauty of the spot, as it is kind of problematic what you're saying at the time, talking about gay position, and situations and telling them that they need to cover their ass. I'm not too sure many people would appreciate that.
Okay.
As problematic as you are.
Well, but yes. Go on.
The thing that bothers me about this whole case is that he's already apologized. They know that already. Getting him to apologize again, are they expecting him to be more sorry than he was before?
No, but it's for face, isn't it?
Yeah, but then so here's the problem then. They know that the apology isn't necessarily sincere for this case, for this time, because he's already apologized. So now he's not apologizing because he feels the need to apologize. He's apologizing because you've asked him to.
Yeah.
Which is a mockery.
None of these celebrities, when they apologize, mean anything. I'm sorry if I made you feel that way. What I said in the past was a wrong thing, and I've grown now as a human being, and blah, 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 blah. No,
and I'm not racist.
Everybody should know that this is just, I'm only saying this because I've been caught, because you brought something up that I've done in the past, and I need to say this to move forward with my career. If none of you people had an effect on my career, I wouldn't say nothing.
So then does that mean that we are stupid then? Because we know this.
The people begging for apology. Listen, I'm here every week. Listen to stuff. And I tell you, I don't care what these people say. I'm not asking for no apology. And it doesn't bother me what they do or what they say. Because at the end of the day, when they go home and they talk to their spa, they're saying the same things or worse. So, yes, people that are begging for apologies thinking that... I mean, don't get me wrong. Because in the bigger scheme of things, you could say, if we don't allow people to use certain words or do certain things, then as time goes by, if it's not in the lexicon if it's not in the main eye, then it fades away. And I wouldn't argue with that. per se. You could say it fades away from the main light and it goes into the background. Don't get me wrong, but some people will stop doing it. Some people will stop seeing it. So let's shift slightly and talk about Raheem Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
So
the N-word.
So last week I watched, this week, due to the recommendation of Mr. Wolf, I watched the Skin of the Ian Wright documentary.
Okay, yeah.
Was it Skin of? Anyways, it was about blacks in football.
Yeah,
and it's good. It's a 2-parter. It's really good. I enjoyed it very much. So
yeah, I'll give it a watch then.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Only on Stav's recommendation, but yeah.
No, I was gonna watch it before.
But you said that before it came out, so you didn't know what it was gonna be like. I've seen it now, and I'll say this good.
I knew it was gonna be good.
All right, but anyway. It's good.
I can't trust Ian Wright sometimes.
Yeah, I hear that.
I
hear that.
No comment. Ian Wright's my boy, man.
Yeah,
best Arsenal striker.
I get what Hala's saying.
Yeah, I understand what you people are saying, but the thing is good. At the end, they talk about Raheem Sterling comes up and he talks about the first time that he actually went for somebody legally for racial abuse, and he said that the person racially abused him and he washed off his back, and this is as he was going to training, and then they said he brought up his daughter. And he said that's when things flipped and it changed. And then he tried to do the legally. I don't know what happened because they didn't mention it. But the point is that they were talking about racism from back in the day, from the first black footballer, from the first black captain, from the first black player for England. You know, for the first captain for England that's black, and how things have changed now. It's so ironic that they were talking about John Barnes and when banana skin was thrown on the floor and how he just kicked it to the side. It was nothing. And there's a youth under 21 player for England, black guy. I might be mixed race actually, and he was talking about he is making a big push for racism because he experienced it on the pitch. He's a Liverpool player. So which one is it?
It's Rhian Brewster, and he's a North London boy.
I really liked what he was saying. He's like, listen, if I have to take this, I have to take it. And he looked at the picture of John Barnes, and this is what's so sad because obviously we know about the banana that happened recently.
Yeah.
Which play was that again? Aubameyang for Arsenal.
After we done smash up Spurs, yeah?
Yeah, so the Spurs fans, scum, threw a banana at one of the black Arsenal players.
One Cypriot man as well, you know.
All right.
Tried to say he doesn't know, he would never do that because he understands racism as a Cypriot man.
So this young 21-year-old looked at this picture, or the under 21-year-old looked at this picture of John Barnes with the banana, a very famous picture.
He's 19, brother.
So he's 19, okay. And he said, "Wow, look at this. Back in the day, I don't know, I couldn't deal with this stuff. Look at what they had to do back in the day. I couldn't do this."
He was a victim of racial abuse about 3 times this year.
By Liverpool fans?
No, when he was away for England, you know, on international duty when you're away in the Eastern Europe, and he flipped each time. It affected him. So what he's saying in that documentary is, he doesn't know, or he wouldn't be able to handle it in the same way as.
But the point is, it happened, and then it happened the same week that the documentary came out. It happened,
and I think that it happened on that basis that they saw that and they thought, you know what?
No, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, when's the last time you heard of a banana being thrown?
I think it came on after that.
No.
The documentary happened, which was very popular. And then it happened the weekend after.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? The one that affects me the most, that whenever I think about the racism, is when Balotelli went off crying. That one hurt, man. Because you could see that he was crying, you know. That racial abuse got him so bad that he was crying. But that one's confused anyway. Because I think at times he thinks he's one of them.
No, his problem is that you know, like, I don't know. I had cousins that used to get so frustrated that they would cry. Because they just wanted to smash the place up.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying that he wasn't angry, but you could see the tears was a lot, man.
Yeah.
He was properly crying. And then who was the other one that got sent? He got sent off for
Suleiman Tari.
Yeah.
It happened with Suleiman Tari. It happened with Boateng, and I remember one of the most, ones that gave me a lot of pride was Samuel Eto'o, when he said, I think the Spanish word was toma. He said, no more, and he was just looking to walk off the pitch. And I've been having a big debate with one of the barbershop guys today, from yesterday and today, in relation to how Raheem Sterling handled what happened to him yesterday.
Do you want to explain what happened first?
Did he actually hear it as well?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
because he smiled at him.
Raheem Sterling, Manchester City played Chelsea this weekend, and Raheem Sterling is not the most liked player out there for the opposing fans, and I think he was going to pick up the ball to restart the game, and the Chelsea fans were hailing abuse at him, and one in particular said, "You effing black C." I won't say the word.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. And Raheem Sterling heard it, and he didn't do anything at the time. He continued. And
he smiled at the person.
Yeah, he smiled at the person, and he put out a tweet today, and it read,
"Good morning. I just want to say I am not normally the person to talk a lot, but when I think I need my point to be heard, I will speak up. Regarding what was said at the Chelsea game, as you can see by my reaction, I just had to laugh because I don't expect no better. For example, you have two young players starting out their careers, both play for the same team, both have done the right thing, which is buy a new house for their mothers, who have put in a lot of time and love into helping them get where they are. But look how the newspapers get their message across for the young black player and then the young white player. I think this is unacceptable. Both innocent. This dude can't write. Anyway.
Yeah.
I think this is unacceptable. Both innocent have not done a thing wrong, but just by the way it was worded, the young black kid is looked at in a bad light, which helps fuel racism and aggressive behavior. So for all the newspapers that don't understand why people are racist in this day and age, all I have to say is have a second thought about fair publicity and give all players an equal chance." And what he's talking about is the Daily Fail, which is a UK publication and the biggest online newspaper in the world.
Okay,
I believe.
that's interesting.
Yeah, so online they get the most clicks in the world, I believe. So this is Daily Mail, and they're basically right.
Do you have the
racist?
do you have the headline?
I have them. So for the
Still folding.
like he said, so in the case of the black player, it says young Manchester City footballer, 20, on £25,000 a week, splashes out on a mansion on market for 2.25 million, despite having never started a Premier League match. And for the white player, who is of a similar age, Manchester City starlet Phil Foden buys a new £2 million home for his mum. So the same thing in the same year, and the same ages, same team, same everything, but one is put in one light, one is put in another light. This is something that the Daily Mail does regularly, especially with Raheem Sterling.
They hate him.
Yeah, for some reason they hate him.
I mean,
and,
Can I just touch on that actual thing that happened with Sterling though? The thing that upset me the most, and probably what I would have done if I was Sterling, is I would have went to the black man that was standing right next to them, and I would have said, "Look at your people there." Then I would have carried on and played football. He was right next to them. And he said nothing.
Yeah,
he did nothing.
Hold on, no.
Nah.
So what are you going to do when you have a bunch of savage fans around you?
Nah, he did nothing. He didn't even say to the man, "Come on, mate." They didn't even give him a "come on, mate" or nothing. He just looked like it was nothing.
What you're doing is that you're assuming that you heard it.
Well, everyone heard it.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is that I'm not. He could have heard it, innit? But there's also a chance that he didn't. You got to remember that when you're shouting and you're in your own emotion, you may not. There is a possibility that he didn't hear it. But anyway, just to touch on that a little bit, the debate that I was having with Cabby P, big up yourself, in the barbershop, is the reaction that Raheem Sterling took or didn't take. So his stance is that he's tired of the softly approach taken by footballers, and that he would have wanted him to go to the referee and to say, "Look, this player has done this. I'm not going to play until you do something about it." I personally said I can't knock Raheem Sterling reaction or the way that he dealt with it. I personally can't knock it, because you got to remember, everybody reacts to racism differently. You're going to have your Eric Cantona types.
Yeah, and I think that was the one that moved the movement, bro.
And yeah, but you got to understand that people are different. So people are going to do things differently. This isn't Raheem Sterling's first encounter with racism. So he's dealt with it in his own way on different occasions. So he chose to do what he done, wait till the following day to put his tweet out for it to make headlines. And I think, I don't know, he may press charges. Let's see what happens. Let's see how this
he's the Martin Luther King of football
unravels. And then, you're going to have your Samuel Eto'os, who's going to look to leave the pitch, and then you're going to have, your Eric Cantonars are going to look to beat up a man. So personally, I can't knock him because people do their things differently. If he chose to go in a crowd and do a madness, then fair enough. But I can't, at the same stage, like what you said, allow the black man.
I'm not lying him.
Nah, for me,
like a dickhead.
It's all assumptions. You're just assuming that he heard and you're assuming that he knows.
Yeah, I'm assuming and I'm saying he's a dickhead.
Just before you jump in, Ian Wright did talk about, on that documentary, they did talk about Eric Cantona. For those of you that don't know, Eric Cantona is a French player. He was playing in the Premier League, 15 years ago or so. He caught some racial abuse, because he's a French, so I think they told him to F off back to France or something like that. And he gave the person that said that, who was in the front, he gave him a kick. A flying kick.
A rass kick.
So that was a big hoo-ha. And Ian Wright said, just like Wahala said, that was the thing that actually brought racism in the game right into the limelight and actually helped move things. But he said, of all people, every black player in the league had 100 more reasons or 100 times more reasons to fly and kick somebody, and we never did. And he was like, he had no reason to kick that person, but it was a good thing he did for the reasons he did. But he actually didn't have no reason, because that's a very mild thing compared to him.
It's like
compared to what all the blacks.
It's a mild thing for him.
It's like what fella says. What Nigerians do is that we suffer and smile.
Yeah,
you get me. So yes, I agree that we could have and perhaps should have done more mad things, and I say mad in inverted commas, more, poignant things when we are faced with racist abuse. But at the same stage, everyone's different, man.
What would have been a fantastic thing, and I doubt it would happen, is if Sterling went up to the referee, said to the referee, I've just been racially abused. If something does not happen, I'm walking off the pitch. And then something doesn't happen, and then Sterling walks off the pitch, and then Kante walks off the pitch, and then Kyle Walker walks off the pitch.
I agree with you, but
and then all the other black players on both teams walk off the pitch.
I agree with you.
That would be fantastic if they both did it. If they all said what, Rudiger said what? Are you mad? Walked off the pitch. Yeah. Both teams, and then left all the white boys just there staring at each other, not knowing how to kick ball again because none of them can play. And then, I think that would have been fantastic.
You went for the utopia situation then, yeah?
Yeah, I think it would have been fantastic if they all decided to take.
But after last week's episode, we talking about not being backed up by your fellow blacks in the work.
That would have been fantastic if they all heard it and they said, "You know what?
For real,
I ain't playing. What, man's what? Are you mad?" And then he got up and walked off the pitch.
Did you see the racist abuse that Willian got this week?
From who?
From his own fans.
Oh my God,
it's mad. On Twitter, mad.
So just to put a little bow, as it stands now, there were videos sent round of the fans or the fan that were shouting racial abuse, and the police and the team have said they are going to investigate and do whatever it is they may need to do.
And the Spurs one got banned for life, by the way.
So the Spurs fan that threw the banana on the pitch got banned for life.
So. And Piers Morgan is a C.
The thing that I find interesting about them articles is they said that he bought his mum a house that's 2.25 million. And he's 20 years of age, and he's earning 25,000 a week, and he hasn't played for the first team. And then with the added
125,000.
No, it's 25,000.
25 grand a week.
Yeah, it wasn't 100.
Oh, okay.
So then the other youth also bought his mum a house, 2 million, but we don't know how much he earned.
Well, that's the thing, innit?
He plays though.
Yeah, but I think that they may have a similar contract, but it's just the way how they've done the thing.
No, but what I'm saying is if they've got a similar contract, either way you look at it, 25,000 a week. If he never spent any money on anything else, he could buy that house within, how is it, 2 years, 4 years?
The problem is, what they're saying is this, innit? This boy don't work. He might as well be a drug dealer. Making all this money.
But he does work.
No, he's not, because he doesn't play. If they didn't say he didn't play, it would mean like it would make you think that he plays and he works. He doesn't play. He's never played. So in other words, in your brain, you're thinking he doesn't work for the money because he never plays.
Unless you know something
that they want to put
unless you know something about football,
he plays every week,
and then you know that he's playing for a city like Man City, who is very difficult to get into that first team.
But it doesn't matter. Daily Mail.
He plays every week for the under 20s, for the under 20s.
Doesn't matter.
The reserve side.
Daily Mail.
The Daily Mail put out the impression that he is a bum who sits on his ass, does nothing, gets paid by the Arab sheikhs.
He gets benefits.
And yeah, he gets benefits of 25 grand a week.
He's living off your backs. You pay for his wages.
That's what they're saying. That's exactly what they're saying. And you know what? He went and bloody done. You know what he went and done?
He bought a bloody mansion, man.
No, he didn't go and buy a flashy car. He didn't go and put, like the other knickknacks. He didn't go out there and do something terrible. He didn't go and buy, a bus stand, jewelry. He didn't do all of that. Nah, he only went and bought his mum a house. Can you imagine living in Manchester with his mum? Crazy.
Have you heard the TalkSport thing?
Yeah, I heard that foolishness.
What's that?
Shall I play it? It's Dave Kitson.
I was like, the one time I was actually going to say play something because I was like, this is a foolishness.
All right, let me do this thing.
You cannot condone this racism in any way, shape, or form. It's disgusting. I do believe that players make themselves a target. Why Raheem Sterling? There's other black players on the pitch, okay, every single week. I just think that we have a duty of care to ourselves as footballers, to be a little bit careful with social media and the way we portray ourselves. Jealousy is an awful thing amongst the human race. And I trawled through Raheem Sterling's Instagram feed this morning to find that a lot of what he put on in his early days has now been deleted. And it was, look at my cars, look at my house, look at this bathroom, look at this, look at that, look at me.
Nonsense.
And that's going to antagonise people. Now, that is no excuse whatsoever for racially abusing someone.
Why I mentioned it.
But you sow a seed amongst people who are not racists. Not to like that particular person because they don't want to see that in their faces every day. Now, when you go onto Raheem Sterling's Instagram, it's here's a goal I scored last week. Here's me in a kid's hospital. So someone's got hold of him and said, look, you can't do that anymore. But that seed has already been planted in people's heads.
Idiot. He sounds like the guy from last week claiming that he gets abused because he's white in African countries.
Yeah. I go to Africa and they take my money.
There's no excuse for racism and abuse like that on the field.
As soon as you hear the but, then fuck you.
He didn't even put a but.
He never said but.
He just smoothly went into the excuse.
But we have to be careful about what we put on social media because we can change those jealous people and make them racist.
Why Raheem? Why Raheem Sterling? There's loads of black players on the pitch. Why
I'm
him in
pretty
particular?
certain that a lot of these black players are shot. Look, Aubameyang's always got his gold car and gold plated Michelin Lamborghini everywhere.
Yeah,
he's flossing all over the place.
He flosses big time.
But then again, they did throw a banana skin at him too. So I can't.
It's one thing you being black. I mean, we've gotten over that now. But being black and flashy and with it, you earn more than the average white person, and then you want to be flashy too.
You know what I've got to say though, in relation to black players. I think in the next, give it 10, 15 years, the Premier League could become similar to NBA and the NFL. Yeah, and I got to give it up to Gareth Southgate, is the current England manager. He is letting these boys play, man. He's bringing them in, regardless of their background, and he's playing them. If you're good enough, then you're going to play, and that was not the case back in the day. So I think that these players have to realise, similar to what Wahala was saying and similar to what my boy Cabby P is saying, is that they are powerful and they can have more of an influence on these kind of things. We got to remember that racism is a society issue that I believe sport can have a major hand in. And if they...
the only problem is they still try to make the token white boy the golden boys, though. That's why they're pissed about people like what's his name? What's the one that plays for Chelsea now? The one that's Nigerian but not Nigerian.
Victor Moses.
No, he's the white Nigerian.
Oh, Ross Barkley.
Them types of players. They are annoyed that they're not playing to them because there's no one like Jack Wilshere. Those man, they wanna have that the token golden white boy.
Is Ross Barkley what?
His granddad's from Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
Like they want to have the one that they can get behind. But in the England team, they got Harry Kane. That's who they got.
That's why they big him up so much.
That's why he's captain. That's why it's this. That's why it's that. Yeah, they have to because he's the only one really now that's doing their thing. Like what the team? Who is the prominent white boy? You got obviously the keeper. No, there's no black keepers out there. Really.
Yeah.
There's a couple, but not really. But so you got the keeper Pickford, but he looks like he steals car stereo, so they don't really like him.
He touched the hole. He looked like he wears Reebok Classics.
It looks like he steals car radios and wears Reebok Classics. Chapter. fantastic.
They've got like Trippier, but Trippier looks like he could have something in him as well.
No, Trippier's mixed, man.
Yeah, he looks like he's got. Yeah, he's mixed. He looks mixed anyway. Oh, so it's actually mixed. Then.
He's
Confirmed.
mixed, yeah. He's,
right.
I think he's half Jamaican. I think he's.
Oh, for real? I didn't even know that.
So then who else have they got? Dyer.
Yeah,
They got Dyer, but he doesn't always play. There's nothing flashy about him.
Dyer looks like he comes from Europe somewhere.
Yeah, so he's basically just Harry
grew up
Kane.
in Portugal.
It's only Harry Kane that they can really get behind. That look, he's one of them. He's one of our own. Everyone else just looks like somebody that they would, clutch their handbag if they saw him on the road, or they should be in Love Island. That's what they look like. So
listen, you young men, we're paying you £25,000 or 100,000 or 200,000 pounds a week. Just keep a low profile. We don't want to see any of this bling bling. Just keep your bumper ass tired. Keep your bumper ass quiet, yeah? Okay?
No. Do you think the thing with Raheem is that he's got a black missus, black child?
Yes.
I think that's part of
it.
And
he prominently pumps money into the black community in certain things as well.
I think that is part of it. And he goes back home.
And he's Jamaican. He doesn't pretend like he's not Jamaican.
Yeah.
He knows he's Jamaican. Like he knows he's a Jamaican player for England.
Yeah.
He doesn't pretend like.
How does he portray that?
Well,
you just know.
He wears them
you can just,
trousers that they wear. And stuff.
You know what?
I said he wears them trousers,
them tight ones. No, but he just you can see that he's proudly Jamaican. If you watch his Insta videos and stuff like that, you can see that they have the bashment in the background, stuff like that. Plus his family, he's very family orientated. Like you'll see him with his sister, like they're like a proper black family.
He done one thing on social media one time, and I think for her birthday, he bought his sister a house. You know what I mean? Some people think, why put that on social media, blah, 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 blah. But you know what?
As well.
I want things like this. We spoke about, should you as a heavily, seriously rich person promote the charity that you give out there? And I think for black folks, we need to do it more.
Can I
just to encourage, just to show, in my opinion, and we touched on the subject already, people need to see that we are doing for ourselves. You get me? People need to know.
Charity, yes, but not buying houses and having cars.
Can I segue on that?
No.
Can I
buying for family. Show people that you love your family.
Can I segue on that? Because I was listening to Everything Is Love. Because they talked about it on Brilliant Idiots quite a bit this week, and so did actually Foles talk about it on Off the Cuff. And I was thinking, I liked Everything Is Love, but I haven't listened to it again recently. So I've been listening to it all day. Everything Is Love, so the Jay-Z and Beyonce album.
Yeah, you have to explain yourself.
Right, so I was listening to it, and the album is wicked, I didn't know how good the album actually is. The album is actually very, very good.
Yeah, it's a good album. I was saying this from before. I said it when it first came out.
Yeah, he did. And I liked it when it first came out, but now I'm saying it's very, very good. But then, always the one that was sticking me is Friends. It's Friends, where he says, I think it's Friends where he says that if none of us if we all ain't rich, then none of us is rich.
My friend, your friend, my friend.
None of us ain't rich. If all of us ain't rich and only one of us is rich, what's that? That's waste. So I get why Raheem's trying to promote his people. I get why he's trying to buy his people's houses so they can feel like they are part of something. I get why sometimes you want to show people, this is what I've done for my family. You should do this for your family.
I just love the fact that there are a lot of young black players, excluding the whole tribalism in football, that are out there making it and doing well.
I think what's happening here also is our culture is different. Yes. So what the narrative that I guess the broader public doesn't understand is that when you're from the hood and you come from the hood, one of the biggest things about the hood is being able to look after your mum. That's a big thing.
Yes, man.
That's a massive thing.
I don't know where his dad is because I never hear about the dad.
Well, you got John Terry's mum out there stealing clothes.
But the point here is, though, the culture is very different. We're coming from different backgrounds. So within our background, the thing is you look after your family. You look after your mum in particular. You talk about being able to buy her a house or to look after her bills. That's a thing that you do. So when you get to that stage where you can do it, you do. And then if you can extend on that and do the rest of your family, you do. But because that's how we come up.
Do you know there's a player that I always say did the right things, did everything well, broke records as well? Andy Cole.
Andy Cole, yeah.
And no one talks about him.
A lot of respect for him because Andy Cole is unapologetically black. And he has been from day one. And they don't like him.
Just don't talk about him. Don't give him any shine. He's just about sometimes that he gets on Sky Sports to chat about things. Man's the second big. Is he still second?
Second, yeah.
Yeah, second biggest goal scorer in the Premiership history.
Behind Alan Shearer.
Right? And people don't even acknowledge him.
Because he cussed the Golden Boy and he cussed him out. Good.
Who?
Andy Cole.
He cussed out who?
Alan Shearer.
See?
And Glenn Hoddle.
You see?
Because he basically said, look, I'm scoring all the goals. I'm scoring more goals than your golden boy, and you're not picking me because I'm black. That's basically what he said, and that was it.
This is what I'm saying. Sometimes I ain't got time for Righty, because Righty is makes a lot of noise. Doesn't necessarily backs the things though.
In what way?
Right, he's one of them ones that just talks a lot, man. But
he's borderline. COON, man.
Like there's certain mans there. There's certain mans there that, you know, like man like Rio. Although Rio might not back in the home, you might see him with the white wife. When it comes to the racist things, Rio don't have it, you know.
Yeah,
Rio don't have it.
Yeah,
Stan Collymore the next one up there.
Stan Collymore can piss off.
Nah. Stan Collymore don't hold no bars, mate.
Yeah, he don't hold no bars, don't hold no licks either. So I can't respect, man. So listen, it's whether or not.
And I will always go back. Yes, he made a mistake. Is he always going to be judged by that?
Yeah,
mistake
that one. That's a big mistake.
What mistake was it?
Where he beat the girl to almost beat the girl to the point where she's blind.
Okay, so that one. Okay, fair enough.
So that one.
I see where you're going from.
Does that mean that you can't speak on big issues?
That's what I'm saying. We're talking about racism.
I don't want to hear him though.
We're talking about racism.
I don't think you should have a platform for him to talk them things there.
I hear you, but I'm saying.
How about the mechanics thing? Can't he go and be one of your mechanics?
No. I said petty crimes, small crimes. I didn't say beat a woman to half the death.
I'm just saying that
I'm gonna give you a job.
All I was saying was that he's as vocal as Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah, but he became vocal after people made him a villain. And then suddenly he decided that he went. I guarantee you, when he was kicking ball, he wasn't necessarily feeling that way.
I'm black now.
Yeah. When he's what I like to call the Tiger Woods of the society.
Sometimes that's
when he was kicking ball. No, when he was kicking ball for Leeds, was Leeds, innit? Leeds and Liverpool.
Nottingham Forest, Liverpool.
No, that's it. Nottingham Forest and Liverpool, and he ain't beat no white girl up. He was quite happy in life, you know, doing what he was doing. And then suddenly now, when he beat the white girl, and them not treated him like they should have been treating Cheryl Cole, then he would start saying, you know what? No, look how I'm being treated.
Do we have a problem though, Simple, with the way that we get to become pro-black and we get to that period of
I think we do,
wanting to be at the front line of the revolution?
I think we do. Do
you have a problem?
No, well, I don't have a problem, but I think the community has a problem in the sense where you can't just one day get up and be for the movement. You have to have been trying to be for the movement forever. You can't. That's what the community says. The community says you can't have had a change of heart. You can't have had a
mistake in the past.
Okay, you can't. You just have to come through with some pristine. I've always been Hotep from the very beginning.
It's like your ACS crew, yeah?
Yeah.
You like the ACS. That one brother that you said is not part of the ACS, when they call him the N-word now and he comes to eat dinner with you lot, are you going to side-eye that man? No. Like before, yes you will. No, the rest of them will, because they'll be like, before, when we was eating our dinner, you didn't want to sit with us. No, you wanted to sit with them, man.
I hear
now
that.
them man don't want you no more. That's when we're acceptable for you.
I hear that.
Nah. Wait, I ain't seconds.
No, but here's the thing though.
I ain't seconds. I ain't the turkey sandwich. I want the full turkey with jollof. I'm not seconds, bro.
No, but here's the thing though. I will tell you, I can tell you what I would do, yeah? I know that if he comes back under them circumstances, I'll rinse him, but I'm not going to reject him.
Yeah.
You don't have to reject man. But you let man know that I don't appreciate
but you would reject him.
No, I'm rejecting him. Because if he hadn't beat the woman down, and suddenly something happened and he was thingy, I'll say fine.
So if he's at the front line of the new revolution in this country, you're just going to continue to give him a side eye because of what he done to a white woman. Yeah. Bear in mind what happened to our black woman.
The soft white woman.
Bear in mind what happened to our black woman.
If he did it to a black woman, I would have discarded him even further.
Mm-hmm.
But he decided he wanted to do it to his white queen.
So Ian Wright hasn't beat anybody. He hasn't said anything. So why are you putting him in the same...
there's times when Ian Wright is suspect, bruv.
And when I ask you for an example, you can't give me one, can you?
It's just his behaviour, isn't it? He's got a bit of a... He's got one of them behaviors there.
You know when they use the banjo to
he dances for them.
To indicate a coon?
That's it.
So you know when England scored that goal and him and Lee Dixon were jumping, is it him and Lee Dixon?
It was him, and he started crying. He was the only one. Only one. Sorry.
No, Gary or one of the Neville brothers. It was either Dixon or one of the.
No, it was Gary Neville and Ian Wright.
And they jumped up and they were hugging it. No, Ian Wright, he was out of shot. Gary Lineker, but them two jumped up and down, were hugging each other. Innit? It was maybe it was.
It doesn't make a difference, man. He was on a white person.
Well, basically, somebody took that clip and they put that Dixie music behind it.
And you know what? A lot of black people, a lot of black women anyway, are still a bit side-eyeing him as well, because he did leave the black wife after he cheated her bare times and to go again find his white queen.
He cheated with a girl from McDonald's, didn't it, on Holloway Road?
Local,
boy.
Was it a McDonald's you just come from?
It was
probably.
It was up the road from the stadium. The other Holloway Road.
Stadium. All right.
Any random, you know.
Can I say something?
Quite a bit, you know. Keep going.
Just say something else now. Go on.
I used to be in touch with music. I used to know about the artists. I used to read the books when the albums come out. So I knew, if you told me the publishing, I knew which artist you're talking about just by the publishing name. That's how deep I was into music.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't record music podcasts back then. So I'm talking 20 years ago now. I knew everything, back to front. And I feel bad because I'm not in that realm now. I'm not in touch with what's going on. So when we're talking about music on this podcast, I can't. I'm not. My fingers don't get deep into it like it would have many years ago. So as this topic about gigs, attacking or abusing Krept Konan on Instagram, I'll explain the issues why. It's like Stav, you out of touch, man. Because so many people know so much more, and I want to be able to I understand this, or I know where it came from, but I didn't care until some of these things started coming up on the podcast, and weekly we'll start ask people, what do you want us to talk about? I say, oh yeah, talk about this, talk about that, and then you read it, and then you might hear somebody else. Like, I'll listen to us, we'll talk about it, we'll bust some joke, we'll give our views, and then you listen to somebody else, and it's like, wow, then people actually knew what they were talking about. That's the difference. Like, we talked about it on the surface level. Okay, but so then people will go into it and
but that's the gossip side of things, which I don't really give a shit about. Like the beef side of music. I've never really had a big interest in it.
But right now there's some beef.
I like battle,
and we have to discuss the beef. So
you have to.
That song I played at the end of last week's episode by Dig That, the one about Air Force,
which I've actually finally listened to last week.
What do you think? What do you reckon?
I listened to the remix version with Krept Konan on it. I never even listened to the original one.
Okay.
And one of them, Krept, I think it is.
Yeah.
Just destroyed the whole song.
Yep. Yeah, correct.
Just destroyed it.
I don't think it was good, but I don't see why.
Bruv, he murdered it, man.
All right, okay. Anyway, so Air Force by Dig That reached the top 20 in the UK charts, as I mentioned last week. And one of the Krept Konan rap duo put this out on their Insta. He said a fucking drill song just went top 20. This was so important. Game changing. This one was for the streets. You can literally make any fucking type of song you want and chart without mainstream radio, TV, etc. They can't control it anymore. 1-0 to the culture. And then he said, Bouncer played dirty. Proud of you, my bro. 10 years ago, Gipset days, man would never have saw this coming. So he put that up there, that's Krept. That put that up there on his Insta. Konan did a heart and that muscle flex underneath it. And there you go. So you see a couple of blue tick mans. I'm assuming, I don't know who these people are. So they're just saying congrats and yes, big up yourself. And then down the list there, you see, official gigs came on and said, hope you got a permit for all that glory hunting. Pathetic. Go hanging N-words. Y'all both make me sick.
Oh, wow.
Forever talking shit that ain't even facts. Now you're trying to jump on a youth's hype and act like you're responsible as well. Fruits.
Oh, rah.
Okay.
So I somebody sent this, I think it was in the WhatsApp group. And I just thought it was fake. I ignored it for days.
I ignored it. I thought it was fake when I first saw it as well.
I ignored it. I was like, yeah, that didn't happen. Whatever. And then come to find out that it's real. So, them mans haven't come back per se. I think they've said a bit of a defensive thing, but not directly. They didn't directly. I think they just talked about, we've made some moves in the games and that's it. They didn't actually
but there was,
address.
There was some other stuff though, because remember there was something to do with basically there was the reason why I think he was going on about this as well is because just previously, like a week or so before that, Krept was talking about them not being part of the Red Bull culture list of people that they had, and then he had some long tweets talking about we've done this. People like Stormzy will say that we're the reason why they were artists. Have you not seen what we've done to this stage and that stage? So they was really bigging up themselves, saying that because obviously they were the ones that got into the charts with their mixtape, innit?
Yeah.
So they were like, so they were basically just sending their accolades. Like, why are you not giving us our accolades? Why are you not putting us on this list?
Which is fair.
Yeah, I think it's fair too. But obviously, people are reading it like, you're just bigging yourself up. Gigs obviously just looked at it and said, you know what, you lot are pussies. I'm gonna say this to you.
You can't say it obviously. You don't know.
I don't know. But he said it. He saw it and he said it in it. But they can't. I don't know them. I don't know the situation with the Krept Konan. I don't know them. I don't know Gigs. But I don't think they're gonna say nothing to Gigs.
They live well. They come up round the corner from each other, innit? Really?
Well, he's that older than isn't he? So I don't know.
How old is Gigs? How old are they? I don't know how old these people are.
I don't know, but I don't see them saying anything to Gigs.
So okay,
that's it. Gigs is one of them mans. They're like a final boss. He says something, you just have to listen.
All right, for people that don't know, Gigs is a grime artist from the UK.
Grime is a hip hop artist. He doesn't call. He's a rapper. He doesn't say
he calls himself a rapper. Yeah. Okay, so Gigs is a rapper. He's been around for a good how many years now?
About a good 10 years, maybe more than that.
10 I reckon it's even more than 10 years. But let's say a decade or so. And he's come up from the streets. He's got a polka dot past, let's say, and now he's come good. That's how we'll put it. He's got now songs with Drake. He was on the recent Swizz Beatz album. You know, he's in these people's Rolodex in their phone books. He's now made it big where he can headline shows here and go overseas and do his thing wherever.
He can't actually go to certain places overseas.
Well, certain places.
Well, he can't go to America.
Well, a lot of people can't go to America for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, well, the reason why he can't go is... But yeah, so...
And Krept Konan are guys who've been around the block as well. They're all South Londoners, if I believe correctly.
Yeah, they're so from Bolton and he's from Pex.
Yep, so they're not far from each other really. And sorry, these are boroughs in South London for our international listeners. And Krept Konan have been out for maybe 7 years or so.
Maybe a bit longer than that.
Yeah. Gigs is 35.
Okay.
And Krept is 28, Konan 29.
Okay. Okay, well they've been out for a while as well. Not they've been out for a while. And they charted with their mixtape. That must be about 7 years old or so. And it was a wicked. Was it
Tsunami or was it Young Kings?
Young Kings.
Okay, cool.
Young Kings. And then they even blew up even further once they released their major deal. They first of all they signed a major deal, which a lot of rappers stroke grime artists don't get to do. And then they actually sold. They had Rick Ross on their album, and you know they did well. And it was that Freak of the Week out song came from that album, which was a massive hit, both sides of the Atlantic. So they did well. Now for some reason this Instagram post was put there after Krept Konan featured on the remix of the Dig That song, which was maybe the first drill song to go top 20 in the UK.
Dig That's their artist though.
Yeah, they're on the same team. So that should be said.
I don't understand. For me, I don't understand what the issue is, so it must be an issue that we just don't know about.
Maybe if Dig That's been doing songs for umpteen times and they've never featured on nothing, why is it now you feature on the song that he's blown up on? And maybe it might look like you're begging it by saying, not begging it in terms of you're begging to dig that, you're begging the fact that, oh, we're in the top 20, almost like it's because of us.
But he didn't. In that message there, he didn't say anything like
he said, but they're on the song, and they said a drill song made it to the top 20, nobody can tell us nothing. 1-0 to the culture.
Yeah, and to the culture, not to Krept Konan.
But you said it on a song that you're on.
Yeah, but what's wrong? But that's the song that went number one.
I'm giving you a reason why because you can say why they're saying it. I'm telling you why. That's
so
why.
You're saying that Gigs should just calm down.
I don't know the reason why Gigs said it. That's what I'm saying. So he might have his own reasons for saying it, but from that tweet alone or that message alone, I can't see that's the reason why he decided. They must have been doing stuff that he's been seeing it everywhere else, and it's just like because he's saying it like you keep doing it. So there must be other things in the past that's annoyed him, innit? And he's just like, you're just beg friends. Yeah. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. I hate beg friends too. So there's times when people are begging things. I'm like, why are you begging? I hate it when people are begging.
Do you count this as begging though?
No.
This one, I wouldn't put it in.
I wouldn't put it in that category. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know what other things he's seen or heard. Yeah. But again, they're in the industry. We don't know what they're going around saying behind people's backs. You don't know what he's hearing from. Industry, other people saying, oh, these men are saying that they did this, they did that. You don't know what he's hearing, innit? He might just be bringing this to the light because that's where he decided it was enough, and he's drawing the line.
As an outsider, somebody looking in, somebody that's uninformed with all this stuff, I don't see what reason he had to attack them with this message. Like you said, they're part of the same team. They're bigging up their boy that's done well, and by all means, let them jump on the remix. Why not?
Yeah.
You've got a hit. We are hit makers also. Let's jump on it and make it even bigger. They've got some other artists, was it K Trap or whatever, that not many people know about. So maybe let's bring his name into the fold as well. Let's all make moves. So I see no problem with it.
It's like Simple going on a next. Simple decided he wanted to do his own podcast or doing a quick podcast, and us man jump on one episode, and that one episode gets him the most listens, and we say, you know what, big up Simple.
No.
He's part of the team.
No. He makes his own podcast
under our umbrella, under ESN's umbrella. Then.
Well, it doesn't even have to be, but the fact is, he's done 19, 20 episodes. Episode 20 blows up for some reason. Blows up. We're on episode 21, and then when episode 20 and 21 both hit the top 10 charts of iTunes, we say, man, we're here. You know, big up to yourself, Simple Simon, for reaching top 10. But he said it, you know, because
but the other ones didn't reach top 10. That's the thing. The other ones reached top 10. All of us, man, would have said big up Simple Simon for reaching top 10.
But the point is, you got there after 20 blew up.
Yeah. So it don't make a difference.
From 1 to 19, you left him on his Jack Jones.
Yeah, but that's when he called, man, isn't it? That's when he called, man, to come on the show to give it the extra finesse.
He's like, bruv, we're blowing up on this side. Come join me. Let's enjoy this gravy together.
Innit? So,
because for you know, Dig that might have called his boys and was like, listen, I know you man told me when you hit the flames, come call me when you have something for me to rap on. I've got something for you to rap on.
I think with them, they got a previous with regards to this, innit? Because I know they jump on a lot of people's remixes, and I don't know how many of them blow up, but I know they do jump on people's remixes. But I'm assuming that not every remix they jump on blows up. So I don't know. I don't know enough about Krept Konan apart from their own stuff. I know they had a song with Abracadabra. Is it Abracadabra?
Yeah. But same thing. That was a remix as well.
Yeah, but I know everyone was. I've never even heard the song. That's what I'm saying. But everyone was talking about that song, and I know that everyone was. I thought he was one of their artists as well, but I wasn't 100% sure.
I don't know
because when the remix came out, they were just talking about the remix. But I'm assuming the original must have been big for them to jump on the original in the first place.
Maybe it's similar to what you're saying with this Dig That thing, that the remix, because it's got them on it. Sometimes, especially when you hear a song for long enough, you can finesse it and then take it to a next level.
But it's like Uchiwali, innit? All over again, really, innit?
Uchiwali?
Because remember Uchiwali, the original Uchiwali didn't have Nas on it.
No, I don't.
But there was the original Uchiwali didn't have Nas on it. And then Nas came on it after, apparently. Apparently.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think the Uchiwali before
was this a Braveheart
like
song?
When he heard it, he said, "Ooh, I got to jump on this," because he knew it was going to blow up. Like,
okay,
a lot of artists do that.
For people that don't know, Bravehearts is Nas's surrogate group. He's got his brother and his bodyguard and other members of Queensbridge in it, and so they would rap on his record label, by the way. So Uchiwali apparently was one of but none of them were particularly good, and none of them
are famous as well.
Yeah, none of them did anything really. But that Uchiwali song, what
do you mean before that? Because I'll tell you now, the bodyguard smashed it, bro.
Yeah, in that song, Horse.
Yes, Horse smashed the
Horse. But
that tune is just sex.
Yeah, Horse was the bodyguard, and that's when I think it was Cameron or Jay-Z was mocking Nas, and they said your bodyguard buried you on your own track. Because it was Nas, because it became Nas's song featuring the Braveheart.
Basically, yeah.
He probably wrote it.
No.
He said it, I'm the Sasquatch of rap. Ah, man. See, I still remember these things. See? This is what I'm saying. But ask me about something 15, 20 years old. I'll be quoting lyrics. Tell me what Dig That said on the song that just come out.
I don't know. Something about, what did he say?
He said his Air Force bent.
Yeah.
You have to bend my Air Force. He said, I stepped on your face like with my kickers like we did in school.
Yeah. Very violent song.
I know.
But like Jay-Z did it as well. Remember Jay-Z used to jump on Bearman's remixes, but they used to call Jay-Z for that. So that's stuff like,
There's nothing.
Remember he jumped on that remix,
and he wasn't as good as that's one of the songs that he didn't actually improve. Yeah, the original was better.
So there's a lot of people that when you're on the top of your game, people want you to jump on their remix. Joe Budden was talking about
Juvenile. The original is better than the remix, even though and Jay-Z's verse was fine. It was wicked, but that original song is actually you couldn't bear it. You couldn't bear it.
It was just perfect. Like I remember when they were saying that Joe Budden was saying that when they were doing Slaughterhouse, they wanted to make songs for Eminem to jump on it, or Eminem was going to make beats for them, and he's like, why? But that's just what people do when you're on my label. I either jump on your hottest tune to make it hotter, or I try to make it as much mine as possible. So
you're the hottest artist.
I can get
if I get you on my thing, it blows up, and then people
it works for all four.
Yeah, exactly. It works for everybody.
So I think there must be something outside of this that's going on between.
That's what I said.
The landlord and these lot, because
the official name. Yes.
What happened with Ambush with that song Jumpy? The remix again was a lot better than the original. I heard the remix. I never ever heard the original.
I haven't heard the original, but the original must have been good for them to jump on it.
No, but that's the thing. If you've heard the remix and not heard the original, and you're saying the original was big, how big was it? Why am I hearing the remix and not the original?
Because the remix made it obsolete.
Well, the remix made the original obsolete.
It happens, man. Okay, yeah. Do you remember? I don't like to say the person's name, but I'm going to say it anyway. And Robert Kelly is a crazy person. Have you seen this thing about where he's talking about?
Yes.
Oh my
God. You know what? I thought because
what's he done now?
R. Kelly was in Zimbabwe or Ethiopia, and he was.
Has he done something wrong?
Listen,
let's say what he said. Please.
I heard that he was telling women in the crowd during his concert, do you have your shots? Do you have a passport? Do you want to come to America? That's what I heard, yeah? But then, and I'm not embarrassed to say it, my wife has got me watching 90 Day Fiancé. I enjoyed it. And there's a video on there that I wanted to tweet. So I did a hashtag 90 Day Fiancé. And somebody said, this should be the new anthem for 90 Day Fiancé. And it was R. Kelly in this concert. And I actually heard what it was. And he wasn't saying it. He was singing it,
yeah.
And I might even get it because
this is just shots.
This is how the thing.
You have your passport.
This is the thing. This is the thing. This is the thing.
Mad person. He is the Pied Piper, you know.
This is the thing. This is the thing. The backing singers, when he said America, the backing singers would say America. So he had this pre-planned. It's not like he didn't just freestyle this, you know.
He rehearsed it.
Oh man!
But if you put it in a song, people will say it's a banger. So that's what. It will be the refugee anthem.
He's got voodoo in his songs.
But as I was saying, I don't like to mention Robert Kelly, but do you know the original of Ignition?
Yeah.
What is it?
The original of Ignition.
Yeah.
This Ignition.
No, it's not. Because if you actually hear what it says, this is the remix to Ignition.
I
don't know what the original is. Never heard it.
All right, can I play this thing quickly?
So what's that song called?
Ignition. The one that was Ignition remix.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's just Ignition.
So some songs the remix is the original just becomes obsolete.
America, do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America?
This man is just taking the piss. It actually sounds like a dirty pedo, isn't it?
One more time.
Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Who wants to come back with us to America?
So, can you pause it, please? Can you pause it? So, this is a guy.
I have to fade it out. I can't even cut it off.
This is a guy that recently was accused of child trafficking. Was it not?
No,
kidnapping and grooming, yeah. No, the one where he said in the house that he was kidnapping,
and they were
so that he was to add child trafficking to his list of accomplishments.
Listen, all of you can say whatever you want, but tonight, after you listen to this podcast, you're gonna go to sleep, and guess what you're gonna be thinking of? America.
He's got voodoo in his lyrics. He is a Pied Piper, man.
No, I want this in your dreams. America.
Do you have your passports? When I come back.
See, it's catching it. Do you have your passports? Have you had your shots?
Have you had your shots?
Do you want to come with me to America? Sorry, not with me. With Rob.
Man is mad.
I forgot what it was.
And I'll tell you this.
How did we get to
and I'll tell you this. He's going to have a few on that plane, you know.
Of course. Women are mad for this guy.
And where was he?
Ethiopia.
Them big forehead, big batty gal.
R. Kelly is like 2 degrees of separation from any conversation. I just shifted past that quickly. 2 degrees of separation from any conversation. R. Kelly is there.
R. Kelly is a dirty bastard.
Roberto.
All right.
Anyway, so moving on.
I got a question for you, man.
Go ahead.
I prefer it when we have questions not on the thing. Gun.
I'm not really up with fashion and that. I know you lot know that, yeah. But what is the thing with?
Do you have your passport?
You joker. What is the thing with boot cut jeans? What's wrong with them?
Boot cut jeans.
Yeah, I'm asking the question, yeah, because this week, 3 different occasions, the issue of boot cut jeans have come up. So the first one, I went to my cousin's house, and I was standing. She's like, "Oh yeah, I really like your jeans." Now she's about 20 years of age. She got deadpan comedy sense, yeah. So I know that she's taking the piss out of me. I'm like, what? Thank you, but you're only saying
kind of flary ones.
No, boot cuts are the ones that at the bottom they flare off.
Yeah, so I'm like, so why are you taking the mick? What's up? You're only saying that because it's boot cuts, isn't it? She's like, yeah. She couldn't hold the laughter, so she laughed a little bit. I'm like, all right, cool.
Like what are those?
Yeah, I'm like, so what's wrong with boot cuts?
You should have asked this question when the skin tight G Don Wavy was on the podcast.
It's true, but then outside of that, now that same week, I think I was listening to Off the
He them type of them man there that was sing them R. Kelly lyrics. So
I held it in, but I had to let it go.
So after that, now I must have listened to Off the Cuff podcast this week as well, and I think Vans and Foles was having a slight dig at man wearing
they
boot
were
cuts.
they were mocking that as well.
Yeah, and then I listened to Cool Name for a Pod, and they took a shot at boot cut. So I don't get it.
We're not allowed to go back to the old school, bro.
Yeah, but so what is the deal? Because
don't wear boot cut jeans if you're not wearing boots.
Basically,
okay, because I know that it's gonna happen next week or next month or whatever. That the boot cuts will be back in fashion again, and people will be wearing them.
I don't know. The thing about
it will be, but not for now.
They're looking for more of a tailored type jean now, innit? So they want it to be more, not necessarily
tapered, straight or tapered.
Yeah, straight cut. I'm not a fan of boot cut, but I do like straight cut. I don't wear the skinny one,
fitted,
whatever it is.
Tapered.
But I do wear the straight jeans because they go better with trainers. And I don't wear boots.
Yeah, I think it depends what type of trainers
you want to wear. If you wear boot cut with trainers, it's
the mids or the highs, isn't it?
It's an abomination. Well, it should be worn with boots, really. Like it should be worn with boots.
Tim's.
But if you're wearing it with shoes, it's like, come on, man.
That's like kind of that's like Michael Jordan, isn't it? Michael Jordan behavior, innit?
Yeah, Michael Jordan would do that.
He wear boot cuts with a long shoe, with a pointed one, and I'm like, how can you wear that?
No,
like,
not even pointed.
That's uncle. That's uncle.
Square-toed shoe with
how
boot
can
cut.
You do that? So it is an abomination.
It's Americans wear boot cut.
I don't believe you wear a full boot cut though.
Okay.
From what I see, you don't wear a full boot cut.
I can't recall you because
your legs are quite you wear a baggier jean because of your leg though, innit?
Yeah.
Because your legs are what's them things there when they
big leg.
No, they like crooked, innit?
Bow
legged, innit? So that's why you
got a Rivaldo.
I didn't know he was bow legged until my missus told me that he's bow legged, and then he was agreeing with her, and I was like, oh, I didn't know. He's like, how can you
got
not
a
know?
Rivaldo leg.
No, it's not even that. I wear the bigger cut because my thighs are massive.
Yeah.
So like,
goddamn.
Yeah, I have to wear that. I have to wear the waist size like 2 sizes bigger because that's the only way the thigh will fit in. It's mad.
You wanna go out, honey?
Oh yeah, we did say that you look like a prostitute outside, by the way.
Me?
Yeah.
It's not we. He said it.
It was actually him.
It was actually me that said it.
I just said,
the way you was leaning into the wind, that's like, you want to have a good time, honey?
He looked like she was buying you. But anyway,
but nah. Listen, boot cut can be wore for certain occasions. I'm not a co-signer of it. I'm more straight and fitted. You get me? And you can wear trainers
straight jeans and
straight
fitted.
and fitted, man. And it looks the bomb diggy. But you can wear boot type trainers with boot cut.
Yeah, like if you wear high tops or something like that.
No.
I would disagree with that as well. You don't wear trainers with boot. You wear boots with boot cut. That's it. That's what it's in the name.
Say no more.
I don't think you come out with me wearing boot cut.
Okay.
It's in the name. So let's move on after boot cut jeans, swinging into the saloon with our spares, and move on to something that Wahala wants to talk about.
I've been going to cinema recently. Yeah, I watched a couple of films still.
Good for you.
You went to go to cinema.
Yeah, but I went a lot recently. So me and my missus went to go watch the secret showing because what's it called? Always do a secret showing.
Did the whites walk out?
Couple, but it wasn't necessarily because of the tone of the film. But it was a film I never knew, I didn't even know existed, called Green Book. Has anybody heard of it?
Yep.
Green Book.
It's got Marshall Ali.
Yeah, Marshall Ali and some next guy.
This is about something that actually happened, though, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, about a real story.
So it's about a musician,
Yep.
a black musician that plays piano, and basically an Italian bouncer, and he basically just needs to take him through the South.
Okay.
And for the South, they've got a green book that shows you where black people are allowed to stay in the South.
That's it, yeah. And they made this a real company, isn't it?
Huh?
It's a real company.
I don't understand what you mean by
the people that make the Green Book. The Green Book.
No, it's a real book.
It's a real book.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
based on a true story.
Yeah,
Based on a true story. So it was just mad. So we watched this film and it was really, really good. And I haven't been able to watch a film that I've not known about for a long time.
Okay, so completely
did not know this film even existed.
Okay, good.
And the film was really, really good.
All right.
But it made me think about this thing. Like, can you imagine that maybe in our parents' lifetime, there was a time that they could not go to certain hotels because you was just not allowed in there because you was of a certain race.
Okay.
Wax only part.
So you don't know the uproar with this film?
No.
Okay.
So go on. Explain.
All right. So the film is about what it is, and they say like the lead character. Okay, I haven't seen it. Is the lead character the black one or the white one?
In the film?
Yes,
the white one.
Okay. Because what they're saying is that basically, some of Black Twitter, they say share about Twitter. That's what I've heard it be called. They're upset that a film based on a black experience, on a black struggle, on this Green Book, the white person is the main character, and during these, I think it's Golden Globes nominations.
Yeah.
It's the white character that's got the nomination, and Marsha Ali. I don't want to say his name wrong, but it's Mr. Ali. Marsha Ali.
Your boy Remy, as I like to call him.
Remy.
Your boy Remy.
Denton, bad man.
Your boy Remy.
He didn't get any nominations. I don't feel. So they're saying basically, why is it this black story based on this black person's life, based on this black musician, based on a real story? Why is it focused around the white man?
I don't think it's if you actually watch the film, it's not really based on his life. It's based on the white man's life, which is weird.
Well, that's the point. They're saying it should be a black. Basically, it should be a black story. Why is it based on the white man's life?
I actually think, and this is me talking, if it was based on the black man's story, it might not be as good.
So you're doing it in right. Okay, we understand. It's all good.
Wow.
Well, this is my point. This is my point. That's how easy it is to just lump somebody in this thing.
Well, because the way that they come with it is a comedic way of doing it, and I think if they was to do it from the black point of view, it can't be comedic. For me,
White's only part.
It's basically white man starts off one way and ends up another way. You know the story before you even watch it. Well, I haven't watched it, and I already know what it is.
You know what it is.
Yeah.
But so I don't think it can really. If it comes from the other way, it's not going to be. You could still. You're completely right. If they did the film from the other guy's story, it could be a completely different story with completely different avenues and completely different ways, and it will be a much more hard hitting film, and potentially be an Oscar winning type film, one of them hard winning hitting Oscar type nomination type films. And he will probably, and again, I think he was fantastic in the film, so he should get a nomination for it. I don't know what one he would be, either he would be lead or supporting.
He's supporting actor. Well, that one I believe got the lead actor. Don't quote me on that. I think he got a lead actor nomination.
Yeah, so he could get something, but from this film alone, because he was very, very good in it.
Who's the director?
I can't remember.
Because I'm wondering if black people need to acknowledge the fact that if the story of the hunt is being told by the lion, then you're not going to get the views of the gazelle or the prey in the film. So if it's a white director, then why would you expect him to champion the black character?
It is very much it is very much a case of it's coming from the white man's perspective.
Yeah.
So there's things that are happening to the black man that they don't delve into so much.
Yeah,
it's surface level.
So you get what you expect. So
Peter Farrelly
is it
the director.
Farrelly? Yeah.
I think he's more the writer that's important than the director.
And he's a white director. Let's find out who the
writer is. Yeah, and then you'll find out.
It might be based off the autobiography. I don't know, but
so for me, it's like if it's Ryan Coogler that done the movie and it turned out like that, then I could understand the outrage a little bit more. But if you're out here with a director and a writer that isn't of the,
if you let them tell your story, they'll tell it how they want.
Exactly. If they're not of the cloth, exactly.
I'm so excited for Ryan Coogler's next film. I don't even know what it is, but I'm just excited for it. But
he didn't do Creed 2.
No, because he's doing because he was doing the Black not because he was doing Black Panther, because he's got another project. So he produced Creed 2.
Yeah, and it's noticeable that it's not him.
As far as I'm concerned, he is the reason that Creed is a bad man film. So Ryan Coogler is the director and writer of Creed. He's the one that, because him and his dad was a big Rocky fan, played Rocky to him as he was growing up. He became a fan of movies, started creating movies, did Fruitville Station,
Bad Boy film,
and did Creed, then went on to do Black Panther.
Bad boy film.
But when he did Creed, what he did was he wrote it and he kept pushing the script to Sylvester Stallone, pushing it off his own back. So that's how he wrote it. He's like, I'm a fan of this film. There's a new way we can approach it. And it was his own idea and his own thing. So, it's his baby. And I think he did it. I believe he made the film. People are saying that too. Some people are saying it's nowhere near as good as one. And some people are saying it's just as good as one. So surprisingly.
Creed 2.
Yeah.
Creed 2's good. It's not as good as one. But it's good.
But some people saying it's like people that were here last week. They came from watching Creed and they said it was just as good as 2. One of them said it was even better.
And there's a reason why they might say that. But Creed, I think the villain is better in Creed 2 because it's a villain.
Okay.
Creed 1 is not really a villain.
But
But
to go back to your original topic, about our parents potentially being in the realm of this living in the same time when apartheid was there, segregation was there, all this kind of stuff. Sorry? Well, all the writers were right. Okay. Thank you.
Their names.
3 minutes too late. So, when I watched the film, what's the one with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence? Life.
Oh,
Wicked classic.
That's in my top 3 films.
Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. When you watch films like that, and they're talking about the era when. So the scene about, you might have heard us say whites only pie on this podcast before. I mean, you might not know where it comes from. It comes from the film Life. You need to go watch it. It's one of the best comedies ever.
Look, man, we've been traveling all day.
Yeah, let's go.
All we want is some coffee, a couple of slices of pie. Is that all right?
No, these are whites only pies.
But do you have any Negro pies?
And not many people.
Life comedies.
When it first came out,
it's not just a regular comedy.
It's like it took a while for people to clock how good that film actually is.
Because of the 2 stars, innit? They were kind of expecting a similar to Boomerang. Are we just going to get a blatant comedy? It was funny, but it wasn't just a mad comedy. It's a serious film. The film's serious.
It's a bad one.
If you haven't watched it as a black person, man, go and sort yourself out.
I quote that film so much.
Jiggly, 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 jiggly.
I'm the papa.
He didn't get my cornbread.
But it's set in like the 1920s or something like that.
Prohibition times.
Yeah. So,
Bad boy film.
but the point is, it get to a point where you get to an age where my parents were alive for this thing. And then you hear about stories about Nelson Mandela and you're like, oh, my parents were alive. And then they'll tell you about the assassination of Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. It's like, yeah, my dad would have been old enough to be watching the news when that happened. And just like you said, it's like my parents were living through this thing. And then some of them is even, wow, they were in this country. So it's not even like they were back home and they were experiencing it through the TV. They were living in this country during some of the experiences that we're talking about that happened in Green Book and, what's the name of the film again? Green Book.
Yeah, Green Book.
Green Book and other things like that. And it hits me once in a while that, wow, it's because, my parents are ranging in the 70s period. And we spoke about Mr. Wolf when he bigged up his dad recently. Or was it your mum that had a birthday recently?
My dad.
And then they were a few years even older. So it's like, yes, they lived through this stuff. And you should really sit down and have this kind of discussion with them as well, man.
It's like as adults now, we're free to do most things. Obviously, people from South London have to be careful where they go, but other people mostly are free to be able to go where they go.
South Londoners are legends, mate.
Okay, you just can't go anywhere. You have to have can't go anywhere. You have to have what's it called? You have to have what's it called?
There's Hunger Games down there, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know.
Don't go anywhere.
And he's released a song.
Yeah, I know, but I don't even want to discuss that, dude. But it's like. It's madness. Like, imagine you think to yourself, oh, we're going on holiday, yeah, boys. We're going to book our holiday. We're going here. Oh, yeah, but we can't stay in this hotel because you're black. Basically, it's mad. Like, you got a blacks hotels only.
Well, just not too long ago, it was no blacks, no dogs, no Irish, right? That was just the other day.
Don't know how Tyson Fury and that man would have had their fight, boy.
For real. Well, you had the black boxers back then, same way. If you're a sportsman and you're black, then you're accepted, innit?
Yeah, they would have called them the Bucks, but it's just mad. The film was really good anyway. I just wanted to say that people should go watch it, check it out. It's a good film. I enjoyed it. I think you lot would enjoy it if you went to go and watch that film too.
Enjoyment.
Yeah, I watched that. I watched Creed, the other two, and I watched Spider-Man today as well. So some good movies out, man. Some good movies. Man.
I actually thought you meant Aquaman. I never knew of any Spider-Man film that came out. It's more of an animation.
It's an animation, man, and it's good film.
How long is it?
Hour and 17 minutes.
Everyone's saying it's the best Spider-Man film ever. Like,
yeah, but
every reviewer is like, the best Spider-Man ever, one of the best animated films of all time. People are saying.
I'll tell the kids.
Yeah. It's a good film.
Is it Spider-Man? All the Spider-Men from the multiverse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got pigs and things. Swine spider. Anyways, okay, I want to talk about this thing because we've skipped over a lot of stuff now.
This thing.
Every time somebody says this thing, it always reminds me of Idris Elba and Beast of No Nation.
This thing.
Because we have this thing, and he couldn't say it properly. I'm like, why can't this African say this thing properly? And he kept on going, he have this thing. I'm like, why did he say it like that? I don't know, it disturbed me. Say it, keep going. I don't know why. Great film as well. Well, Beast of No Nation again. Never watched it. Go watch the film.
The Chinese government has ordered an immediate investigation into the alleged delivery of the world's first genetically edited baby, as experts worldwide voice outrage at such use of the technology. Now, just to flesh this out, everybody knows about DNA, don't they? Yeah, they're your genes. So you can edit DNA genes. We've known this for a while. And what's the name of that sheep that they cloned?
Dolly the sheep.
Dolly. So they did stuff like that too.
Dolly, legend. Let's keep it like that.
Do you know with Dolly the sheep? So everyone knows that that sheep was cloned, and so they made a clone sheep. But did you know about why they died? Because they died soon after they were made. Or not soon, but like relatively soon. Do you know why? Does anyone know the aftermath?
Did they kill it?
No, because let's say that Dolly, let's say the original was Shirley. Shirley, let's say, was 13 years old, which is, I don't know, 40 in human years. So when they cloned Dolly and turned her into whatever, she already had 40 years on her life. So she died, let's say, at whatever equivalent would be 80, because they were born old.
Wow.
That's mad, isn't it?
That's deep.
Yeah, it's mad. People, it's like they didn't. Nobody knew about that.
It's like in Family Guy when Stewie made his equivalent, the evil Ada.
So basically, they've known this technology, and scientists and biologists have been tinkering with this kind of stuff, but they've never gone into the realm of humans, because in most countries it's illegal, and in China, where anything goes, it's not kind of like illegal. But it's like you're not meant to
free for all.
Yeah, you're not meant. You're not meant to do it. Like it's not like super. It's illegal, but it's not illegal. Like
they can do what they want, but can't say what they want.
We don't have the human right. What the human? What the human? It's just flesh anyway.
You're bad.
We're gonna make a flesh. We're gonna grow the flesh. The flesh is gonna grow up to be faulty.
I don't know if you said 40 as in 40 or 40 as in 40 ounce or 40 as in broken.
Faulty. They can do what they want, but they can't say what they want.
That was Simple Simon.
He can't be racist though.
Anyway, they're part of their people.
Anyway, so everybody has been tinkering with it, and they've been thinking maybe in 20 or 30 years' time we'll get to the point where this is the scientific community. We'll get to the point where we can do this legit with a human. Now, what you can do is you can edit out certain genes, because different genes give you different things. So they decide your skin color, your eye color, how tall you're going to be, the voice you have. Everything is decided by your genes. Well, also what deficiencies you may have. So sickle cell, you could edit out the sickle cell part of your gene.
But you know that the Chinese are not going to do that. All they're going to do is edit the thing that makes their eyes the shape that their eyes are. That is what they're going to do. And I'm not even saying it as a thingy, Bob. I'm not chucking shade by saying that.
You're chucking shade. I'm not. You're going to talk about manga films, isn't it?
No,
big
but
eyes.
they are. They I think that is actually something that they've got like a thing about.
A thing about. It's a big thing.
Everybody's got a thing about something.
I know, but that's what I'm saying to you. That's the first thing they're going to do.
That's not what they did. They'll use it for some weapon.
Well, in this case, what they did was they edited out the gene that would give you HIV, I believe.
Oh, okay. So no AIDS.
So the child would be born without. You can't. It's not like it's impossible, but it's like severely limited chances of getting HIV.
So the child has been born.
Yeah, there's twins, I believe.
So the demon childs are out there.
So they're out, and the whole scientific community is like, because they just did it off the slide, up to the point where people's like, we don't know if it's true because you haven't been charting this, because you shouldn't really have been doing it anyways. So this is why the Chinese government is like, what is going on? Because everybody's attacking these people like, you can't just do this. We don't know the repercussions of what's happening. We haven't tried it. We haven't tested it.
You don't know what our disease they're now going to bring into play.
Yes, you don't like. We just don't know. We haven't tested this enough in the world.
What's wrong with human beings? Why are we always doing shit?
Congratulations, you have a child that don't have
bruv, bruv, I'm putting my foot down with this. Bro. You can't.
We use the gene of the Kenyans.
What I don't understand
you
is
can't catch the
why?
Because that's what scientists do. Scientists always push forward. Humans push forward.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that this is why I was saying that we're going to kill ourselves, because this zombie talk that people talk about, that's how they start with all this zombie behavior where they have these mutated children.
But
when that child eats the other child now, they'll be looking at them like, why did you do that?
Look, how many of these zombie or these end of the world films start off with, at some point in history, somebody did something. Yeah, and then it splintered off mankind, and then you had this separate branch of mankind that now became this, and they either became dominant because they were perfect and now they controlled everyone, or they became zombie-likes. Once 12 o'clock hit, when they were 18, they turned into mugwais and gremlins. Who knows what happened? So, but that's the point. We need to test this out. How could you just do it? What would you say if they had tested it out? And generally, the consensus was the scientific community said, you know what? We've got to the point now where we can edit genes. So it's not just that we can help you with IVF and we can inseminate yourself. We can inseminate you now with a gene saying that your child will be so tall, have a thick hair. So me that's balding, say, no, your child won't ever bald. Okay. Your child won't have sickle cell. Okay. You have these choices. Would you do that? Or would you say, no, I'm not about that life. I'm doing it just natural. Would you edit your child?
I want to be so bad.
Like they'll turn them into like Muhammad Ali or Messi or something like that.
No, I'm saying that.
Let's say you have a choice. Like you couldn't do everything, but you could decide. Let's say 5 things. So skin color, height, ability.
God makes me ever have a child with a Ghanaian, I'll edit out their ability to make jollof in their way, and the head shape must be round. But I don't know. I don't think I would do it. I would say, look, let the child have. You say that, but you know what? There's so many things that could potentially happen. Like you could say, I don't want my child to have Down syndrome. I know there's things that they're trying to do to not have that happen. I think there's things now that can detect whether or not your child's going to have Down syndrome, and they'll say whether or not you should have the child or not.
Yeah. Early on in your pregnancy, they can test
it. Yep. So stuff like that. But I don't even want cesarean. Like, so I want natural everything. So I wouldn't. I don't even want to know what the sex of the child is.
You wouldn't.
I wouldn't want to know.
Large up yourself.
I want everything to just come out, and I experience everything on the day.
So you wouldn't do it?
I wouldn't do it.
All right. So Big Wahala wouldn't genetically modify his child. Simple.
I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do it either. I feel like it robs you of the opportunity if the child don't turn out how you like. It robs you of the opportunity of saying, that I chose you to be this perfect child and you still flopped. It robs you.
Yeah, useless still.
Yeah, it robs you of that opportunity. Imagine you set up the gene the best way that you thought you could set up the genes, and the child comes out useless. It's entirely your fault now.
So it's like Mourinho setting out his players on the field, and then they're flopping, and it's like all eyes is on the manager.
Yeah,
you set up the teammate.
Yeah. Like, how could you put this combination of genes together? Look at this useless child.
Yeah, and that's how you'd feel. And
that's how you would feel. So I'm like, let me leave it to nature, innit? If nature gives me what nature gives me, then I'll take it.
This is the thing, because the biggest scientist, the best scientist, the most strategic scientist has always been nature.
Yeah.
So why are we always trying to find ways to defeat nature? Nature always wins.
Mr. Wolf?
No. I'm just leaving it be, man.
So none of you would edit out like just the chance of having.
Do you know what?
Sickle cell or something like that.
I'm sure that there's something that some women can do.
Mr. Wolf will give him the tool gene. Give him the tool gene, did it? Grow, boy, grow.
Joker.
Nah, he's a hater. Let be short.
To prevent their child from having breast cancer, or to minimize the chances of it. I think there's something that you can do. I think that this kind of thing it sounds mad now, but I think that give it 10, 15, 20 years, it's going to become the norm.
Design the babies, bro.
It's going to sound crass.
Even sex, you can do it yourself. You can say, I want my child to be a male or a female now.
It's going to sound crass, but people need to die.
Yes.
And we're always trying to find ways to stop them from dying.
Yes.
They need to die.
Yes.
That's why the world is mashed up now, because it's overly populated in certain capacities.
All we're doing is make people live longer so that we can make more money off of them living longer. It's mad.
People need to die. So if we're always trying to find ways to stop them from dying, eventually what happens when everybody lives forever?
Yeah, that's part of the reason why they prevent particular cures from being publicized. you know, there's cures for cancer and AIDS and all these kind of things, but they don't want anybody to know.
But if you're genetically modified to the point where you don't even get any of them.
And what does that do to the pharmaceutical industry?
Ooh. So there will be them that own the whatever drugs you need to take beforehand that don't work to be able to do the genetically modifying things.
That's what I'm saying. So it's deep. But I think it will come out as normality probably when our kids are our age.
And then what happens then? Do those people have to have a conversation with each other like, oh, are you a modified child or are you an organic child? And then is there going to be rules about modified children not being able to mix with organic ones?
I think
it's effectively like a vaccine.
You have to do it on your smartphone.
Okay, the question we asked now.
Effectively like a vaccine, isn't it?
Question you asked now. You meet a girl.
Yeah.
And she tells you she's genetically modified.
Yeah.
Are you banging? It's how much it always gets down to this.
It gets down to
but
that.
Are you?
I don't think I would. I don't think I would.
You'll feel uneasy?
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Wolf?
I don't care.
Basically, she's a mutant.
I don't care about genetically modified. If that
Storm's a mutant, isn't it?
If the titty is perfect, I'll take the titty.
I'm banging Storm.
Stav?
What's the question?
Genetically modified woman, you meet her. She tells you she's genetically modified. She was the first mutant or whatever, clone child or whatever it is.
And part of the things that she can bang well.
No, none of it is that. Just she's
yes, I'm banging. Yes, I'm
wow.
Yes.
You know, no skeptical, no nothing.
Yes.
Even though you know it's uncharted territories.
Yes.
Man will bang a woman from Mars.
I'm Captain Siberius Kirk, right? Yes. I'm doing it.
Entire name.
When you wake up in the morning and you got 1/3 nipple.
Yes. That's my war runes. War runes. All right,
wounds.
Last thing, unless somebody else wants something to say. All right, Labour MP Kate Osamor resigns amid row over son's drug conviction. Now, this is a black Labour MP for, I can't remember what constituency she's for, but basically, her son, who's 29, was found with 2.5 grand of cocaine, ecstasy, ketamine, and cannabis at a festival in 2017.
Wow.
Now, I think he's got off with a slap on the wrist or something, but she wrote a letter to the judge asking for leniency. Now her son is 29 and he was a councillor actually, so he stepped down as a councillor first. And
her
then
son was a councillor.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she's an MP. But what he's saying is that he was holding it for his people. So that was his claim. I was holding it for my boys. I wasn't, because this is intent to sell. It's having it with intent to sell and just having it. It's obviously it's two different crimes. So he's saying that I was just holding it for my people. I believe they accepted that and they gave him leniency. Now the thing is, the papers got whiff of this and they went to obviously they got to the MP straight and she's like, no, I did nothing. I didn't know about it. This is news to me. Like claiming first of all,
she lied basically.
Yeah. And then later on they found the letters that showed that, well, clearly you knew because you were asking for leniency on behalf of your son, potentially pulling your weight as an MP.
Did they blame Raheem Sterling for this?
Why not? Now she stood down as a Labour MP after this all came out. She's like, this is a politically motivated attack. They're attacking me, but I'm going to stand down as an MP. Probably the people beside her told her, listen, you've disgraced us. You have to stand down, because that's what happens a lot of the time. You don't really choose to stand down. Your comrades tell you have to move on. Yeah. Theresa Ray is the only one that's holding on with her teeth and her nails, saying, I ain't going nowhere. But this one just stood down.
Nowhere.
Do you think she should have stood down for what happened? So she's lied about not knowing, and then she's been caught out.
Yes.
In the political world, it's the norm for that to happen. Generally speaking, in the work setting and environment, no. But politically, if you fuck up and you do something wrong, then the first thing they are going for is for you to resign, for you to step down. So for something as massive as that, it is just normal.
She told her a little white lie.
It doesn't matter.
She should have found
It's not just the fact that she told a lie. It is her background, the way that she's brought up her son. They'll start digging and start finding things. It's best for the Labour. It's best for Labour and Jeremy, and for what he's going through with the whole Jewish thing, is for her to just allow it, man.
If they going on a tough on crime thing as well, like saying we're tough on drugs, we don't accept it, blah blah blah. I don't know if they are. I don't know if that's one of their
One of the points in their manifesto.
Manifestos, whatever. But then if there is, and then you've got one person that's there whose sons obviously look to be soliciting drugs or whatever, and then you're then trying to cover up or get him off lightly after you say you're tough on it, then yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it looks bad. If she came out as a mother and said, as a mother, my son made a mistake and I tried to help rectify that mistake, then again, people will still be calling for her head, but at least there'll be respect to say, okay, as a mother, she's done that. But what you've done now is your son's made a mistake, and rightfully so. You've used your power in your job to try and
it's not right though.
For me, it is. If you're
morally, as a parent, it is right, but you're not supposed to use your power as an MP to help your family, especially when they've done something.
I'm just assuming that when you sign your letter, such and such MP, that holds some weight. I'm not saying that. Yeah. I'm assuming that's what she was doing. Yeah, but maybe any mother that's any educated mother with any kind of importance might have said, "Let me just write this letter."
Yeah, it's not a violent crime he's done. So you're saying she's not letting out a killer from what she knows, but she's saying, I'm gonna try and see if I can get my son to have maybe a little more leniency.
Simple.
She has to kind of resign because this position kind of puts her in what they call it, a position of vote of no confidence. Like, people can't look to the leader, even if they can understand it on a human level, why you would do something like that. You can't look to a leader and say, a leader who's done this and say, I can put my trust in them necessarily, because they're prepared to obscure or use their position to leverage against the law.
Didn't she get attacked?
I don't know about this.
I heard something about her being attacked on the train or something.
She's a black woman, a black MP.
And somebody,
she's gonna get attacked.
I think it was her that I saw tweeting saying, whoever helped me on the tube today when I was getting attacked, thank you. And blah, blah, blah.
I saw that as well.
I think it was her.
Okay.
So people are going to go at her, man.
There's two things I want to say about this. One is that, taking into account this is a black woman, all right, is that one, enough other MPs do enough other sacrilegious and unscrupulous business and get caught out.
Boris,
this, that, all over the place. And some of them step down, but a lot of them just step sideways.
Yeah, for real.
A lot of them just step sideways. They come out the limelight for a little bit, and then when it's all died down, they come back. And I don't see, them get attacked necessarily as much as certain other people. Not necessarily this woman, because this is not necessarily the biggest news in the world, but some other people, bigger things. And the second thing is, we believe our biggest demographic of listeners is black women. And I just want to say, Mr. Wolf, Big Wahala, and Simple Simon, they ain't got your back, black women, because they just threw this one to the wolves. They said she should go. She should go.
Hong.
Come on, man. Come on.
The Right Honourable Stavros Hong.
These people don't know what this Hong business is.
I don't care, bruv. Hong. But anyway, with regards to what you said earlier, obviously Boris Johnson had that same thing this week where he basically said that he basically said, I didn't pay 52,000 in tax. My bad. My bad, G. I'll pay it later.
No. He stood up and remember.
And he said sorry.
This is tax evasion now. He said, there's all this stuff that happened overseas, and I didn't realize that there's 52 grand worth of tax, not 52 grand that I need to pay tax on. 52 grand tax that I should have paid that I just didn't. I'm sorry. And then the person got up in the what did they call the person that's the order in the house? The Speaker of the House said, "Thank you for being so honest and for being so forthright. We will end it there. Let's move on to the next topic." That was it. Now remember,
there was someone behind him that started cussing him though.
This is how they bring down big gangsters sometimes, because there's nothing else they can do. Let's get them for tax at least. Let's find where the money comes from and do something with that.
Boris he's just connected, innit?
He just said, I'm sorry. This is why I want to send my daughter to private school, man, because I want her to be able to say, I'm sorry I didn't pay 52,000 in tax. I'm sorry.
She's black, bruv.
Yeah, I don't know.
And she's a female, so
be careful. They're also stealing pigs in them private schools.
I don't know which one to say, so I just say them all.
One day, in episode 999 of ESN, you will only be able to say 2 words. Because you won't be able to say nothing else.
Get me?
That word is cancelled. That's problematic. You can't talk about those people like that. Non-binaries are now the majority of the society. You stop saying men and women.
Wow.
One man.
When they say, in how many years beige is going to be the majority color in America?
They say that, but I don't think it's true. I think the black gene will still push through.
Or the Asian gene.
Or the Asian gene will push through.
So how do you mean?
Like they say, they make this what do you call it, prediction about everyone being beige on the grounds that they all have white in them, and they think that the white gene is going to be strong enough to be able to show itself in X amount of generations time. But what happens is, if these beige people get together, because of dominant and recessive genes, the black gene or the darker gene in both of them is going to come to the.
Are we actually saying beige?
No, yes, because beige is not the term they say. They say the whites will be the minority in America by, I can't remember the date, but it's in about 20 or 30 years time. It's not actually that long.
Talking about
within our lifetime, and they don't use the word beige. So I don't just stick with beige, but I was just tossing my own little
talking about the whites.
But you get what I'm saying, though.
But that goes in with what they're saying. You're not saying anything different than what they're saying. I think we're stuck on the beige thing. They're just saying that other coloreds, if we're going to stick with that term, are going to be the majority in America.
Talking about mixing and matching, what do you reckon about this Michelle Williams and her husband thing?
Well, that they broke up.
Yeah. Did you see?
Oh shit, they broke up.
They broke up.
Yeah.
Are they married?
They were no. It was fiance.
They were fiance, and then I think after the thing happened with because basically they was on the show.
It was us.
They was on the show.
It's awful.
And the husband said something about taking her meds and she said something about him not understanding because he's not black about something. Yeah. And after immediately they said we're going to go on an indefinite engagement, which I didn't understand. So it means like we're going to be engagement for a while until we decide otherwise, which I thought that's standard anyway, didn't it?
An engagement is indefinite.
Yeah, that's what I said to ready. But they went and made an announcement about it. But then recently, I think this week, they didn't announce that they're no longer together. And then, you know what? I was like, oh, okay. Then I saw a picture of his family, and I said, why did this woman go to this family? They're proper hillbilly family, you know.
That's why, I mean, she's got it on a few sides, man. I mean, you know, let people do their own thing, and that's what she decided to do. Maybe she will learn from her experience, and that's how PC I'm going to be about that.
Straw chewing people.
What did you say?
They're the one that chewed a straw. That's what they look like. Clampets.
So they're the other ones that they'll play the banjo for.
Yeah, the clampets. That's what they look like. I was like, what is this?
Who's that hillbilly rapper that sang with Timbaland?
Bubba Sparks.
Bubba Sparks.
That's it.
Yeah, them man. I'm like, wow. I was like, is that what family that you went to go on? Wow. Like, there was a picture of his family, and she was the only white in the picture. I mean, the only black in the picture.
Yeah, that photo.
They even made her hold the white baby as well. I said, wow.
Yeah, it was a bit mad.
Anyway, she didn't. She did. She was holding a white child.
Man, nearly spat
like one of the cousins who slept with one of the cousins.
Wow, I'm not saying that.
That's a bit deep, bro.
He's still a pastor,
Well, that's what they do.
You went in that direction.
I just said they were a hillbilly family. The man had, you know what, red hats now. Red hat was no problem.
Before,
no problem.
I know, I thought it was a marker
as soon
as well.
as I saw the red hat, I said, my guy, but it's not.
Listen, you fall for who you fall for, innit?
Nah, sometimes you stand up.
Sometimes you put yourself in a position to fall for.
No, you just stand up all the time.
Well, I mean, maybe we'll go down that road another day.
Stand up tall.
I just want to finish on something quickly before we go, run out of time. But it's this something that we spoke about last week. I spoke about with Mr. Wolf as he sips his drink on the microphone. Yes, we could hear it before you say anything. Yes,
all right. It's ginger and honey and all this. I'm feeling under the weather.
We're happy for you. We're happy for you.
I sound like Simple Simon.
All right. He used the word a couple of weeks ago, the CUNT word.
Oh, okay.
And he's used it previously before.
Way too much in my opinion.
Bitch.
What's wrong with you?
Don't say it. Go on. Go on, Stav.
No, I got a message from a listener who said, a female listener, a woman listener.
Game of Thrones, man.
A woman listener who said that they nearly switched off when they heard that word. Now, when he used it, and this is an avid listener, and I'm a fan, and they say they used it once and they winced, like almost kind of thing, and then the second time is like almost switched off. Now we were talking about the China black.
Black China black. That's cocaine.
Yeah.
The woman who took the cream to bleach our sisters.
It's Black China. Don't try and make the reason as to why you thought the thing was appropriate. When I heard it on that podcast, I did not like it either.
Okay, so we're talking about Black China who was taking.
You don't like that word anyway.
Who was taking bleaching cream to Nigeria.
Yeah,
and so he called her the C word.
Yeah,
all right. So this listener, bro, you can move the mic. This listener said that using this word against hearing a man say it, and especially saying it against a woman, was something that she had to debate whether she could listen to the episode or not. Now, I did defend it and say that he's used the word against men as well. So as much as you don't like the word, which is fine, because I know Wahala hates the word, and he said it multiple times that he hates when he uses it, but he has used it against men, which is why Wahala said multiple times he hates when he uses it, because he uses it often throughout the course of this season anyways.
It just seems like a cessation. You know what? I just feel like a cessationist thing.
So, and that was a conversation. They said, they didn't put it in public. They said, I wanted you to know privately. I said, for me anyway, for everybody else, this is a side note. If you have something negative to say, put it on social media. Let us know. Put the positive and the negative there. You don't have to hide it. We want to hear everything. Like, put it all out there and we'll discuss it in public. It's all good. But anyways, that's back to the main topic.
He wants to get blocked again, you see?
No. Let's talk about the thing in it. So anyways, they said, out of respect for us, they told me privately as opposed to putting it on social media and letting the whole world hear it. So I just wanted to hear what you guys. So first of all, I will. Do you want to say anything, actually, Mr. Wolf?
I can barely remember the conversation, but one thing that I did touch on was the use of the N-word that we've said that we were.
I was talking about if you're going to apologize or something before you go into.
Oh, apologize.
I was just. You could have just said no. You don't. Yeah, then let's say no. You can go into your N-word in a second.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. Kevin Hart in there.
We'll
No
talk about to these guys, and then maybe you can have the last word.
All
right. What do you think about the C word, using it, and whether we should censor it or anything like that? Does it fall into the N-word category that we shouldn't use it in the podcast, or is it something that whatever?
I think so. I think that it's used, for me, I think it's a sensationalist word. Like, you use it to get a reaction. But
couldn't that be said for all swear words?
Yeah, but that one a little bit more because it's more known as the word that you like. The F word is not that. It's not as bad anymore. That's those types of things not as bad anymore. That word there still has that pow.
It holds. Okay,
pow.
Well, let me hear from Simple Sam before I ask my next question.
I feel like the word is an occasions word. You know, like, so it's like, you know, like you break out the Ferrero Rocher. Or yeah, I think that's what that word is.
Yeah.
We wait for the diplomat to come before you use the word.
It's a strong word.
You don't use it for any regular visitor.
Yeah, you don't. China is not enough for me.
Yeah, you don't just dash it around willy nilly. There are some people that are that is the only word that you can use. It's someone, if you use that word against that person,
the world will back it.
Everybody would understand entirely why you said that.
Raheem Sterling. Like before they used after they used the black word, they used the C word. They proper punctuated the racism with that word, and
they put that stamp on it.
You get me?
Yeah,
put that stank on it.
So that's what I say about the word.
So both of you feel that it's a word that should be reserved for an occasion where it's necessary, and the time when we're just insulting somebody for using promoting something we don't like in Nigeria, that's not good enough to use that word.
I wouldn't call a woman that word unless they've done something.
It has to be serious.
Now,
really,
that in itself is
like pedophile
subjective, innit?
Type behavior, like child abuse
it's
type
subjective
thing.
Okay, so she has to be the lowest of the low before you.
Yeah, but the same thing with a man. Like I wouldn't necessarily just use it willy-nilly with a man either. But if I'm using it against a woman because I know the connotations behind how women feel against that word, I wouldn't use it on a woman. Like, I wouldn't just dash it out in a podcast.
Okay, then, so that leads to the second thing then, quickly. It was brought up, like, as I was defending that, well, he uses it against men. It's like, nah, it's a word used to degrade women. And I was like, but that's if you want it to be. Because the word's changed now. It's just an insult. It's just, for me, it's just a general. So Stavros is still saying, I see it as a general insult. I can understand maybe the roots of it, but I don't see that's what it is anymore. But I said, no, me as a woman, that's how I'm taking it. So, and especially because you use it against a woman, I'm taking it like that. So do you still feel, so Wahala, you've basically co-signed that. You kind of said that you still see that resonance to women, but the root is still there.
No, it's about their privacy.
Yeah, but then it's like calling a man a pussy. It's not, you don't say, well, I'm not a woman, so it's not applicable to me.
Or a dickhead.
Yeah, or calling a woman, it's like you could, you said, use a call it in your scenario, you didn't actually say it, but you said this woman is a dickhead a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, so my point is,
dickhead is a dick on the head. It's not something.
Come on now, let's. This is not the semantics episode. You don't need to. No, we understand. So I think, all right, fine. Calling a man a pussy is quite known that we do it, and yes, that's a woman's part.
Oh, yeah.
So that's it. It's not. You don't even use it.
Some women get offended by that too, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying they couldn't get offended by it, but you don't say it's used for women only. That's a woman's. It's not. It's just a term. Yes, we're discussing the woman's part.
Particular. It's more of a history, isn't it? That's been there long. I don't know. I don't know longer than a pussy.
I don't know the history of the C word. That's the thing.
It was a Viking word, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just it's not. It's the fact is it's not. It just literally just means their vagina, but because it's got that
comes from Germany.
It's got that extra.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That extra stamp on it. It just sounds
for some
bad.
reason. Yeah, C. It sounds different than any other word in the English in the English language.
People say it with a
C and K
at the end.
Yeah, for me, I don't know, man. That's it's a special reserve, and more importantly, when I use language, especially when I'm saying stuff that is potentially deflammatory or degrading or whatever you want to call it, I don't really view it in gender terms or in sex terms. I just use words. So I don't know if there are cusses that I could say or cuss words that I say and I mean woman or man when I say it. I think I just kind of I spray them.
Is there a word? Is there a word for a man that's got the same?
Yeah, but we've said that word has been used for man as well.
No, but is there any other words that is for men specifically that will make a man say I would never say that to a man? Like, I don't know if there's any words. Like
I don't see that as the C word for the women thing because I'll take it out of that context. So,
no, but a lot of people would feel that way. I'm talking about in general. Like, do you use their word? For
it was news to me. It was news to me
that women don't like that word being said about them.
No, obviously no. But that is specifically like it's more offensive to a woman than it is to a man. I don't see it as
it's a little bit like there's certain words in it because it's like vulgar words of describing their thing. That's how they see it.
Yeah, but it's just it's just a vulgar word.
Yeah, it is. If you're just talking about literally, it's just a vulgar word. It's but because it's theirs, isn't it?
I wonder if. Well, I wonder if Jamaican women, or there's a facet of Jamaican women that are appalled by the term pum pum.
Yeah, probably. And panani.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, I just said the woman that went to that show the other day was offended by the panani. That he was talking panani this, panani that.
Okay.
Or whatever he was talking.
Yeah. All right. True. Okay. All right. We're running out of time, so I'm gonna let Mr. Wolf say his last little piece, and then we'll do our church notes and our goodbyes.
Okay. I remember I said that word a lot. That came from a certain line from Game of Thrones, and I remember saying it quite a lot in the earlier episodes.
Because I don't know if he's gonna stop saying it. This is why I'm interested.
Well, the thing is it's like I don't know. It's down to you guys, really. It's down to a vote, perhaps, that we can vote whether we say it or not. Number one, I'm not gonna let anybody on the outside influence what I say on a podcast, to be honest. And that's all respect to our listeners. You know what I mean?
I get the impression if it goes down to a vote, I'm gonna be the deciding vote.
Perhaps because I know what the actor's gonna say.
You can guess what he's gonna say. I don't think what you two guys are gonna say.
So yeah, I think it is gonna come down to you. But I think that I use the N-word as an example that we kind of said that we're not gonna say it, but it's been said a few times since we said that we weren't gonna say it.
Yeah, but we put it in context.
Even then, you can say the N-word. You don't have to say it, innit? You know what I mean? But that's of course you can.
You could do, but
the N-word.
But it's not used to degrade somebody.
Prof, let's not talk about how heavy the N-word is, innit? Yeah, that's a completely different topic.
The reason why we don't use that word on our podcast is not because of the word itself. It's the context behind it. So right. I'm not going to say my N-word or to degrade the next man. I'm going to call it the N-word. But if somebody says this was said blah 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 and it's in context of this thing, then I won't have a problem in saying it.
I don't swear on the podcast, but when I read out thingy's tweets, I went Gig's tweets. I use those swear words because that's it. It's be a bit long for me to be this.
Of course you can. The bottom line is that we said that we weren't going to say it, and you can say the N word. That he said the N word. He said N, if we said that we ain't going to use the word, then you could say the C word. You get me? But for me, I'm willing and happy to continue to say the thing. You know what I mean? But if I'm voted out of it, then fair enough. Ain't no big thing. But from it, and also it's a subjective matter on how much you feel affected by a person's behavior. So for you may not feel like what Black China is doing on the whole cream and all that woman. You may not feel that it is as bad as someone doing something crazy, but I see it as something.
No, I think it's bad.
Yeah, but I'm just saying from my point of view, I see it as something really serious. I think it is deeper than what we think, deeper than what it is portrayed to be. And I felt it appropriate to call her that word. And if it was a guy, I'd have called him the same thing. You know what I mean? So it's all opinions, and it's all subjective matters, in my opinion.
For me personally, you're a big 40-something-year-old man. I don't need to tell you what you should and shouldn't say. If you feel like what you're saying,
40-something,
if you feel like what you're saying is an appropriate thing for you to say, for me, then it's up to you. Do I respect the fact that you say it often? No, I don't. But it's up to you. I've said it in the past.
I don't say it often, though.
You say it a lot, man. You say it when it's unnecessary to say it, and that's why I say sometimes it's the sensationalist just to say the word.
Yeah, you and I'm just like when you're because you just toss it in there with the
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you call somebody a bitch, and then you continue, and then you get to that word.
Yeah, it's the Game of Thrones.
And by the time you got to that point, because we know it's coming, I'm always looking at Wahala, and he's always giving you the look like, you don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. And I think that eggs you on to even to say it more.
And then I say it.
Yeah, so that's why I'm just like...
I can tell you one thing, though. This listener doesn't have any Guyanese friends.
Yeah, they might love that word.
They say that word all the time.
Is it?
Every other sentence.
Okay.
They say it, but they say it sweetly, though. It's semantic still.
For them, it's like Bumbleclot. They say it all over the place.
All right. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay, on that note, I'm going to put up a poll about the C word on the Twitter.
So predictable, man.
Listen, man, we need to get our social media popping to this day. We need, man, let's interact. Hashtag ESN Pod. Holler at us at ESN Podcast on all your social medias. It's moved in there nicely. So that is where you can get us at. And let us do our church notes and our goodbyes. Let's start off with Mr. Wolf.
I wanted to say something. Come back to me. I can't remember.
Okay, let's start off with Big Wahala.
At Big Wahala on Insta, at Big Wahala on Twitter.
And then move on to Simple Simon.
At Simple Simon FB on Twitter. I don't have Instagrams. I had a shout out for something called The Convert, which is a Danai, what's her name again? The girl that does
Danai. Yeah, well, I'm going.
Yeah, I wanted to shout out for that. But I've completely not got all the details.
Oh, it's a play. It's going to be at what? Because I was talking about it with you last week. What's the fair again?
Oh, yeah.
Call Fair?
York.
No.
It's the one in South.
It's not Catford, is it?
No.
Come on, man.
I can't remember.
Anyway, it's a fair in South. It's written by Danai Guerrero. Sorry, I don't want to say her name wrong.
Southwark.
But the name will come to me in a minute. And it's starring the woman that was also in Black.
Letitia Wright.
Letitia Wright. She is acting in it. My missus is sorting that out for us, and we will be going. So at some point, I will be able to tell you what it was like. So I cannot remember the name of the film.
I wanted to talk about in fact, I won't talk about that. This is Mr. Wolf. You can catch me on AKA Mr. Wolf on Insta, AKA _ Mr. Wolf on Twitter. And in a couple of days, it's my daughter's birthday.
Gaza.
Hey. And 2 days after that, it's my son's birthday.
Hey. Gaza. So, a couple of days after that, it's Christmas.
Yeah.
No
10
pocket
days.
wolf.
10 days after my son's birthday.
No pocket wolf.
I think we're releasing like Boxing Day. I think our podcast.
No pocket wolf.
So I tell everybody out there who's looking to make babies, leave your woman alone
in March,
or leave your man alone in March. Leave them be. Well, just pull out. It's all good.
Oof. Pull out method. Been working since 19 long time. All right. I am Stavros Boss. You can catch me at Stavros Boss everywhere. Stavros Says this week is Out of Their Skin, which is the documentary by Ian Wright on ITV. You can catch it on the ITV hub, or you can catch it on your Skybox. You can search for it. Out of Their Skin. It's a documentary about black footballers in the UK. And the first black footballers, how they overcame racism and the situation that we're in now. It's a good documentary. I enjoyed it. So that's that. Also, I'm going to do a second week again and do a shout out for Word to Your Mother podcast.
Plug.
Yeah, because it didn't come out for a week because there were some issues with the audio, but then they got some of it sorted, and so it still sounds a bit choppy, but it's up there now. I listened to it. It's nice to hear my voice on another podcast. So I'm just shouting them out, and I want you to listen to Word to Your Mother podcast featuring your boy Stav.
Plug.
And they call it. Hold on, you heard what I said there. Now I didn't. Did I said it wrong in it? So you can defend yourself now.
Completely wrong.
Yeah, defend yourself.
I don't. It's too late, man. It's too much time. So don't worry about it.
All right. Okay.
But you did it wrong.
I didn't do it completely wrong. I just didn't say. Anyway, I did defend it and say I don't remember exactly how I said it. But anyways, I'm there, and yeah, I didn't get no lashback from it, so I'm surprised. You can catch us at ESN Podcast on your social medias. Remember what I said? Do the voice note. Send your questions to esnpodcast@gmail.com.
Plug.
Use the hashtag ESNPod to join in the conversation.
Plug.
And please rate and review us. We need more ratings and reviews. So if you have an Apple device, go to your, you're listening to us on it now. Just rate us, please. Give us 5 stars. I don't beg for nothing apart from that. That's the only thing I ask for. I don't even beg my missus for nothing.
Plug.
Yeah. Just do that for me. All right. Okay. Thank you very much for listening to episode 102 of season 2.
Shout out
the Eloquently. Yes. Shout out that actor. I'm sure he'll be back next week. Hopefully. This time. I should have been in South Africa last week. That's what I'm saying. The South got something to say. Peace.
And remember, if you ain't saying nothing, say it well.
Slag for life. You know about that concert in South Africa? Everybody was there. I should have been there. I should have been there.
I remember what I wanted to say.
Fuck it.
I can still say it. But anyway, I'll say it again next week. naturalnubiandolls.com. Wicked website for all the gifts for Christmas for your daughters and for your sons. It's not just dolls, it's books as well. But I'll shout this out early in the podcast.
Put that in the weekly. My missus is bang on getting a doll for my daughter for some reason. And if you're going to get one, might as well be a party.
I don't buy white dolls for my baby.